Hi, we're live. And Steve, take it away since you're ready.
Oh, yeah, I'm so ready. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Meister Hypster's channel. My name is Steve. I'm known as the Game Mommy. This is another episode of Healing Rifts. I believe session 12, in fact. Cool little fun fact about Healing Rifts. You can catch up on all of Healing Rifts over at Meister Hypster's YouTube channel. I believe it's youtube.com/@MeisterHypster. But thank you for joining us. You know what, Jack? You wanna say anything about the channel? Say anything about where people can find you, or do you want me to just launch right into it? Because I'm not gonna stress out poor Yuri or Hicks's players with making them do like the TikTok intros or the content creators.
They're very much like we don't exist online.
I'm not a clock.
I'm not a clock.
I will say next week I don't think we will be going live because
Conventions,
right? And considering certain physical things about me, I am not going to be recovered by Tuesday for sure. So next week, Tuesday, we will be off, and then we will start again the week after. Aside from that, no other announcements. Steve got all our episodes on YouTube.
I did. They are finally up there. I apologize if anyone is watching this and is also a subscriber and has notifications turned on your YouTube. There was like a problem, but we're good. The episode and all future episodes of Healing Rifts will be uploaded or published to YouTube in VOD form the following day.
It's very sexy.
So if you miss parts of this, you have to go. You'll be able to find it the next day, or you can of course come back to here within 2 weeks if you for some reason want to use this Twitch's VOD use versus YouTube's video, which if you do, good luck to you in life and the choices that you make. But nonetheless, should we get started?
Yeah.
Sam's ready.
Yeah.
Why? So last time everyone got to the tower, you requested some documents, and you sat and you had a nice little like tea time, and nothing happened. Right? That's the whole of it. That's all of it.
Nugget got laid.
Yeah. Nhudrel lecherously seduced a young halfling woman.
He never could walk again.
He did not.
She's in the infirmary.
He
it's
did.
fine though. It's consensual, so it's fine.
He did not.
He did.
So,
we witnessed it unwillingly.
So, Nhudrel, after rejecting the advances of a halfling administrator at the Tower of Conjuration in the Crest Arcana in the Kingdom of the Octatic Synod, Nhudrel, along with the rest of our sort of strangers in strange lands here, found themselves all spread across the tower. Fang meeting up with one of their tribe members, Stone, a student that had left the tribe decades before Fang probably ever showed up, and has been traveling abroad and learning things, and is currently here in the tower. Hicks had some real tense, sneaky, followy moments with a shadowy and mysterious figure that eventually led to a confrontation up on the 10th floor, the top floor of the Conjuration Tower, where Hicks discovered that they had been the shadowy figure was on a mission for the Raven Queen, and so there was a little talk about judging what was going to happen. And they came in on an office between the council member and the headmistress of the Conjuration department of the education, arguing about how to manage this ongoing rift storm that has torn the capital city just to the south of the Crest Arcana asunder. After Yuri had absconded with some very magical items from the inside of various cursed and uncursed obtained item vaults, trying to reconnect, but things becoming a little too tense, a little too hot when you're carrying around, some pretty powerful items. Yuri found himself outside, kind of staring off at the storm. Nhudrel found themselves upon the same scene that Fang eventually found themselves upon, which is basically that someone had stolen something out of the magical archives and documentation artifacts room. That someone we know as players and GM to be Yuri, but the NPCs don't know that. Arguably, honestly, neither do the characters for the most part, other than Yuri himself. Found a sleeping pile of cuddling students and administrators in the room and everything. And it looked like magical lockdown needed to take in place on the tower, which is only further more complicated by the fact that up on the 10th floor, the assassin, who Hicks just assumed would be pragmatic and reasonable, or at least kind of keep to their word, didn't, and just immediately tried to assassinate the council member who they sent by the Raven Queen to do so. And Hicks made a choice in that moment to instead direct that to the headmistress.
Choices were made.
People have died.
Headmistress, I believe everyone but Yuri is up top on the 10th floor at like the office room in this moment. Just like having just arrived, and everything. So that means Fang, that means Alice and Stone, the NPCs that were escorting Nhudrel and Fang, sort of, or like attached to them. And then, of course, Hicks is up there with the assassin who they slit the throat of. Very clearly trying to stop the assassination, but not quite stopping it, just redirecting it. And we left off where we're going to start again, with Yuri sitting out on a ledge on the outside of the Conjuration Tower. The tower itself still not quite locked up, still not quite, nothing is physically or magically changed about it at this moment. Staring out at the kind of edges of the sort of magical force field that is protecting all 8 towers of the Crest Arcana from this torrential, unnatural, magical tearing storm that is blasting lightning. And it was then that Yuri discovered that there was a bit of a space around the storm where it almost felt like it was feeling out the edges of the magical barrier here. A dark, shadowy space, like wind and lightning and storm controlled, and darkness controlled. And it was in that moment that Yuri gets it into his head that he only really remembers one thing that's ever been described like that. And that would be not the biggest fan of him and his family. But the was a Queen of Darkness, Unseelie Queen, Queen of Darkness, Mistress of Darkness. I can't remember.
Queen of Air and Darkness.
Yeah, Queen of Air and Darkness. That's it. I was forgetting the air portion. But the Queen of Darkness, Air and Darkness. So back to Yuri. Yuri, you're staring out this. This is the thought that you have in your head. That this is a large section, is probably about like a 20, 30 foot radius, so 60 foot diameter globule. It's not a perfect circle, right? It's kind of a shape, but it's kind of just on the side, hovering above the ground, kind of pushing on the external force field, almost like testing it, not really like trying to beat through it or anything like that. That's what you see, Yuri. What's Yuri's first thought the moment that comes into their head?
You're doing what my GIF is doing.
I honestly think it's brain static for a moment of just staring out with the confused Pikachu face.
Oh no.
Like, just trying to grasp what could potentially... You know, he's basically... The brain is catching up with what is actually going on, if that makes sense. I imagine he honestly would probably just start to shake. As he's just like... Because it's terrifying. You're basically an unseelie god.
Oh no.
in that level.
Mhm.
And then I think he would kind of do that, like the very animated thing of he looks at the tower, then to her, then to the tower, then to her, then to the tower, then to her, and then he just kind of freezes against stairs. And I guess it's kind of like because he's now where the storm is kind of a person. Does he get like that's a weird sentence, but does he get like a kind of idea of what, like, does it feel like it's trying to go for something in particular, like a certain area in particular?
Okay, so this is a little bit of what we talked about here. Give me either, and you could give me multiple if you want to, but Arcana, History, Insight, or Survival check. Any 4 of those, you get to pick. You can pick multiple. Each of them will give you different information.
Okay, well, I got a 12 on survival.
12 on survival. It doesn't. It's hard to register what a kind of a wave of air, darkness, and storm is doing. But because it's not, you do, as I've described, you do know it's not like trying to it's not like trying to brute force its way in. It's almost like it's testing it. That you certainly know that that if you have a suspicion that if this was aware of you, that might not be the response the storm has to you being in this tower or in this area.
So I don't think it knows I'm here.
Yeah, I'd say with even a 12 survival, based off who you believe this to be, you'd be like, there's just no way it wouldn't engage in some fashion. And it does seem to be kind of almost methodically, almost like an amoeba, sort of kind of methodically trying to see if it can find a way into a space. It's not really its direction is very much like mowing a lawn, being thorough, not doing not just like trying to just like break down something. So I would say that, yeah, with the 12 survival, you at least have a good suspicion that it does not know that you're there.
Okay, so do I roll another thing now?
Yeah, if you want to roll another thing.
Am I understanding that right? So, what are the options?
Yeah.
Insight,
Arcana, and History are your remaining
Why am
three.
I rolling so bad?
It's gonna be like last session all over again. We're just gonna fuck everything up and all die.
What did you roll? Because I'm currently a 6, and that was for Insight.
Yeah.
You gain no more insight on this than you have from our current discussions. It's the fear has you. You're pretty confident that this is the Mistress of Shadows. You can also roll History, and you can also roll Arcana.
You don't want me to do a nice little digi for it? Okay.
A little performance.
Yeah, that's like,
I mean, if you want it to notice you more, sure.
Oh, well, that's a 7.
It's a 7 on
It's okay,
Arcana.
Yuri's scared. It's fine. Makes sense.
Yeah, you're pretty scared. I will say with Arcana, you should feel that the Mistress of Shadows is here. Or you should feel that the Unseelie Queen is in the house. You don't know if that's because of the barrier or not. That's what I'll give you on that.
Well, can I ask outright? Because, like, of course, the Unseelie Queen is like, yeah, she's got the smoke, but the actual Queen is basically like the diamond. Can I actually see the diamond in the?
You cannot.
Calm down, Rihanna. Sorry. Okay.
My head had the same thought every time I say the word. It's been ruined for me as a word.
You guys just hear "Shine Bright Like a Diamond" radiating from outside, and it's
when Yuri panics.
Performance.
When Yuri panics, it's "Shine Bright Like a Diamond."
Yeah, Yuri is Rihanna. It's confirmed.
The perfect character, the perfect D&D character, Rihanna.
I don't hate it.
Okay.
No,
I'm not mad about
History. It's a 1. Out of 1, a 2, and 2 7s.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
But that makes perfect sense because Yuri is doing a panic.
Yeah, no, the dice
Yeah,
really
but it doesn't
want
help
you
me
to
know
just
what I do
not.
next.
History says that the on a nat one, I'll give you this because it's stuff your character would just know well before this, and know it in the way that I know how to order a coffee, right? Where it's just a thing that people know and would never forget. History says that the unseelie court does not oftentimes move in a straight line, right? Certainly not the queen. Oftentimes move in a straight line. You have a couple of choices here. You're on the fence, but leaning toward the theory that this hasn't spotted you. You're on the fence, but leaning toward the theory that the barrier seems to be the blanket that's preventing you from feeling it and potentially her from feeling you.
Oh god.
Thanks, just weakened it.
Her from
Woo!
feeling you. You are the whole reason you don't want to be on the inside of the conjuration tower right now is because you're carrying hot contraband on yourself. You kind of have a choice. You can try to go to another tower. There are 7 other towers there. 7 other towers all under this kind of encasement. B, take your risks outside in the lightning without having a tensor's floating disc acting as your shield above your head. Or C, go back inside the conjuration tower, knowing, basing it off of, it's a or it's an unlikely scenario that even a very powerful thing that won't have consequence in the same way that an individual in the material plane would have consequence. It's a very unlikely scenario that, like, the Queen of Air and Shadows just open hauls off on a tower of wizards for something. She's probably here for something, but she can't seem to get in. So at least they've got some kind of juice right now keeping her out.
Yeah. Okay.
So tower is dangerous because of what you're holding on you, but maybe you can hide that. Maybe you can figure out something on that. Other towers might be safer. Going outside, probably incredibly reckless, but you could always run. Maybe they're fully distracted and you could just fucking haul ass out of here. But then you got to deal with all that lightning.
You guys just look out the window at Yuri as he's zapped multiple times running. No.
Reroll a new character.
What if you just like misty step to like different trees? Like,
Yeah, I don't think I have that many spell slots at level 3.
That
no.
and yeah,
to be
yeah.
Sucks to be you.
I don't think you have that many either if you needed to.
Well, they're a
I'm
warlock.
I'll just run
No
out
one
of
has
them.
a lot of spell slots in this group. There's no full casters in here. A
Full
bard's
caster?
essentially
How
a
dare
full
you?
caster.
No, but you're a
That's a
babe.
full
A
caster.
bard's the most caster of the partial casters, or the least.
I'm pretty sure
of
in
the
5e
full.
they are just a full caster. You get the same spell slots and everything.
We
And
were
the same
just
amount of spells.
a bunch
You get
of
like
Well,
basically
right now
same
you're
sorcerer.
useless. So
Yeah.
Make a choice.
I'll have to look. I thought they got less than a sorcerer, but I might be
No,
wrong.
they get about the same because they even get like some like stuff the sorcerers don't get because they get some of the
Well, yeah, they
druid
have their
spells.
Yeah, they have their spell list. Yeah, for some reason I thought that they, they weren't a paladin or a warlock or an eldritch knight certainly, but yeah. But anyway, nonetheless, Yuri. So you have 3 paths. 3 paths. Admittedly, one brings you back in the group, but know that I, as a GM, have fully prepared if you decide to try to duck into another one of these towers.
I mean, that does sound fun, but no.
not fun, but
I
you'll
think
probably die.
the thing is, I think now Yuri knows what this is. He's not going to leave the others to try and solve an issue. That's not what they think it is. Oh my god, sorry, I couldn't breathe for some reason. Okay. Because this was all been. This was, you said last time, this was all happening when basically the knife throw thing happened.
Yeah. So like, you're within seconds of exactly the same time as what's gone down on the 10th floor.
So, Yuri is firstly gonna.
You're within dramatic editing of the time.
Okay, let me dramatic edit. Really random question.
Yeah.
With the horn that I rescued.
Yeah.
Does the horn, when it's broken, is it like broken in the say of it's like cracked and stuff, or would you say there's like a bit missing?
I would say that it is chipped. So it means that like it's okay, it's broken in two ways. It's broken in the way that there's a bit missing, but that obviously was a broken off piece of it. That is not a piece that you would normally like. I wouldn't like snap that off. It obviously became chipped.
Okay.
It would, and then its magical ability, because it is in any way damaged, is diminished to nigh zero. But you know that if you were to find the chipped piece and then do some magic bullshit to repair it, you could get it back to the place. Get it back to function.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I would have probably sensed the chip if it was nearby. So I'm guessing it's elsewhere.
Yeah, its chip is not around, like in the nearby zone.
Would the log have said where these items were recovered from?
Yeah, they would.
Okay, you don't need to tell me now, but
you're come up with that name right now, but I kind of know the rough location.
It's fine.
It's not close, but arguably, I don't think it would be that much farther away or in any greater travel than, say, going back to Fang's homeland. Like it's like a month or two of travel from here.
And it's actually in Fang's homeland. They stole my shit. No.
That's why their blood is so good.
No.
Okay, I think Yuri would like. How to explain this? He's gonna head back inside, and he's gonna literally start like. It would very much be like a. At first, it's a brisk walk into a little bit of a panicked run by the end of it. Like he's going up to the others, but it's like he's like, this is fine, I'm fine, everything's fine, okay, I'm not fine. Like it's very much that kind of like by the end of it you're like running. But he's gonna disguise
Okay, go on.
He's gonna disguise self as he's taking his first steps in. But it's gonna be like a little bit of a different disguise self than normal. And it's kind of like, it would look really strange, and no one's here to see it, so I'm just being extra. But basically, like, it would almost be like the leaves and like nature of the skin and the vines like kind of seep back in, and it would slowly be replaced with like a dark tan, and he'd basically turn himself into himself, but as a wood elf.
Ooh, very nice. Yeah.
Same hair, same everything, but instead he's got like deep tan skin. He's got like a dark brown hair with mossy highlights, and then the vines on his face will like then instead resemble like vine tattoos like that the druids have. And then his armor will kind of shift into that. The best way I can describe it is Warhammer Wood Elf. That very
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly.
Root formed kind of. There's a lot of thigh. There is barely anything, but his armor actually would like grow and redact and shift into like that very Warhammer wood elf armor with like he would use druidcraft to like kind of like hide his bow with some extra vines. So like he's trying to be obvious to the rest of his group, but he is trying to basically forge an identity at this point.
My face looks familiar. I don't look out of place in this. No one knows what I look like, so only people that know me do this. Give me a performance check with advantage. Because I want to encourage you to use more of these.
Okay, that's just a little baby 28. We're fine.
There, good. It wasn't a particularly high DC because there's already reasons for people to be hustling in this place now. And as you might imagine, normally in a normal regular degular Tuesday, there's administrators like doing zones of truth and detect magics and stuff. There's like art things, and all of that would normally happen at the front door on the first level. It's like a normal building. But all of that's been eschewed in this point. So with your 28 performance, you more than easily do this. I'm gonna say that I am 100% fine with Yuri being like, I sense that my friends are probably up at this point because the thing seems to be into a panic and the important people are up. And there's no way Hicks doesn't go beelining it to the most important person in the room to deal with that.
Yeah.
With a problem. So while you're doing all of that, we turn back to the council members' office quarters on the 10th floor of the Tower of Conjuration here on Crest Arcana. Wizard Hill. The council member whose name I totally remember, and I'm not having to go look at my notes right now because I'm a bad GM. I'll bring up my private notes.
I just remember Meredith.
Huh.
Is that one? No.
Meredith.
One was Meredith, and who was the?
Wasn't Meredith the one who died?
No.
No. Meredith's the
I
one
believe
kind.
Meredith is the name.
Oh, so it is Meredith. Okay.
Meredith is the one who chose to live, and it was like
Live.
the other
Yeah,
one.
Mistress Pine is the one that died.
Yeah, Meredith. Meredith. Pine I remembered because I've mentioned her name enough times. Okay, so Meredith. Meredith is standing there, the Dwergar head of Conjuration, basically the Dwergar, one of the 8 leaders of this country, stunned in this moment as the blade goes in and fully disintegrates essentially. Mistress Pine, the person that had thrown the blade, is now bleeding out on the ground, dead from another stranger, a very stoic-looking elf man, and then at the same time, a very tall blue man, a very tall, an even taller, big, strong barbarian redhead woman, a 2.5 foot tall blonde halfling that the council member probably somewhat recognizes, and a bat goblin in the full wizard robes that they absolutely recognize, Stone, all kind of come into the space all at the same time. What's happening? What? And they begin to reach to their desk drawer that they were seated at and are now standing in front of. Hicks, Nhudrel, Fang, you want to do anything here?
I would like to roll to panic persuade people not to kill us. Just like.
Well, the only people right there are Alice, who's been with you the whole time.
Oh, that's good.
And Stone, Stone, who you saw with Fang.
I thought Alice
Alice left.
Oh no, Alice did leave. You're right.
It was
Alice
just,
bounced. Alice bounced. Stone just sent Alice down, so it's just Stone there.
I even got a little hand squeeze.
Who and Stone?
What?
Stone and who?
Stone, Fang, Nhudrel, and Hicks are now. Now that's it.
And currently, the one left alive is reaching for a drawer.
Yeah. Meredith. The council, the Conjuration Council. And they're reaching for a drawer. They're being defensive. What,
the drawer,
Nhudrel,
like,
do you want to...
facing us, or is it like the other side of the table?
Other side of the table. Think of it as like the door opens and the desk is sort of like at a 45-degree angle, and the the headmistress Pine was on the sort of guest side, which is the side closer to you in theory, and Meredith is sort of to the back of the room between the desk and the wall, where someone who works at the desk would be. So it's not like the perfect office, like the door opens and you see the desk there and it's right facing you. It's kind of gently askew or askant. But essentially you can see that they're going for their drawer. They're not being super subtle about it. But yeah, I'm giving you all a chance to react to the fact that a bunch of a lot of violence just happened by two strangers, and then more people showed up.
Okay, well, if Nhudrel and Fang are gonna stand in stunned silence, do something.
I'm trying to think of something Nhudrel would do, but aside from like gapping and having his hands up and being like, I don't know what's happening, but
come in peace.
Yeah, like
Fang is going to have a hand on Stone's shoulder and then put another hand out to Meredith and be like, we are friendly. And then she's gonna look over to Hicks and be like, friend, are you okay? Because of something she had observed previously.
Give me a persuasion check or an intimidation check, but I'm thinking his persuasion is what Fang's going for.
I don't see Fang as trying to intimidate with we're friendly. We're friendly.
That's an 11. That's an 11 on we're friendly.
That's what Fang does. Hicks, you can immediately tell that is not convincing. You've dealt with ranked people before. Nhudrel's panicking because Nhudrel doesn't want to come off as aggressive. Fang is trying to very calmly and simply explain that obviously they're allies and everything. Not an easy thing for a head of state to just believe from a stranger. Hicks, you have some time to respond here as they continue their direction of reaching into their drawer.
Well, Fang is like, we're friendly, and Hicks is not about that life, so... He would take, I guess, because he threw the one dagger already, but so I guess he would, take either one half of his scimitar or another dagger out.
We're just going to say you have a handful. There'd be no reason that you wouldn't have a handful of throwing.
So he's either going to take his scimitar or another dagger, whatever's closest on hand at that point, or easiest for him to get to. And he'll hold it out towards Meredith and just blank-faced as ever. I just saved your life. I can take it away just as easy. Do not move.
Don't do that.
Like she's like, he's a professional.
Give me an intimidation check with advantage. It's going to be a pretty high DC because this is not an unpowerful person.
Can Nhudrel just be like, he's joking? He's joking.
He got an 18.
An 18 is good.
That's pretty high, actually. You have a +6 to intimidation?
Yeah, of course.
My job.
They're a warlock. It's a charisma stat, right?
That's fair.
We love a charisma warlock. That is also kind of a face character. Your two face characters are so different. Man, this could really use a bard of eloquence in this moment. 18's good.
I'm trying.
You're getting there. You'll get there. This is a stall game to see if Yuri can get into the room fast enough. It is. It's a lot of floors.
It's just this wood elf going up the stairs.
It just cuts back to like a long shot at the top of the stairwell, and it just shows you just like tank running up each one. It's doing that excellent film cut maneuver where it's actually extending the length of it.
He's only 5'5", so I can't skip steps.
Yeah,
each one.
But nonetheless,
My teenage 5-foot self would beg to differ.
To be fair, you're probably not wrong. I'm just very clumsy.
The council person stops their progression to the drawer, and then they raise one hand up as in a pausing gesture, as Stone herself on that statement was about to start casting a spell from Hicks, but she relaxes a little bit. You did save my life. You have 30 seconds, maybe a minute to explain yourself.
I think
Go.
you are the one who needs to
Oh,
explain
shit.
yourself. Why is she after your soul?
Who?
You know who I'm talking about.
What?
He's just gonna like stare at
gosh.
him with blank, like
I feel
anime, like glare.
I feel like Nhudrel's standing in the doorway, just trying to get Hicks's attention. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Nhudrel can just see Yuri trying to sprint up the stairs,
No.
and he just watches Yuri tumble down a few steps, of like rolling like a cartoon, and Nhudrel's just trying not to laugh in this moment.
oh no.
Really
I will
bad
say
timing.
that Nhudrel and Fang, you both hear the sound of someone that sounds like they're in pretty significant plate armor chugging up the stairs. I don't roll with anyone with significant like
What
heavy
Why do I sound like I'm
clothing.
in play?
Least
Oh, no,
What?
it's not me. Oh, don't mind, ignore me.
Can Hicks roll? Can I roll an insight on him being like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get anything. Woo! I got a whole 8, so yeah, he doesn't pick anything.
You can't tell if they're lying or not. You don't get an indication in either direction. Essentially,
I'm gonna sniff check their sweat. The 16 tell me anything.
a 16. The smell in the air is tension,
Oh.
extreme tension from Stone. It's hard to get past Nhudrel's natural panic sweat.
Wow,
that I imagine is happening right now.
Thanks for pulling me under the table. I smell like
A
rain,
nice
okay? I
panicked
smell
musk.
great.
No,
Well,
you're a sweaty
I
don't like
dolphin.
I smell like a dolphin.
You smell like a fucking the sweatiest dolphin right now.
I hate you all. I've gone from noodles to frogs to dolphins. I hate you all.
No,
but
we'll come with
nonetheless.
something worse later on.
Or don't.
But I would say that you don't smell anything off about the situation. It's just a complex thing. There's the dead body with the blood and the iron that you can smell from that. You can smell that. However, with the 16, because it's over 15, Fang, they might have been able to disguise themselves, but you know they're scent. Yuri's close. You don't know where exactly, but you know that Yuri's around somewhere.
Wait, we hear the clanging coming up?
You hear someone clattering up the stairs, fast and rapidly.
I'm gonna like glance at Hicks and all the very tense people and like sort of lean back and try see if I can spot who is coming up the stairs.
I'm gonna actually post what armor Yuri's wearing.
Oh,
Yeah. Let me see that. Let me see that Yuri armor.
Wait, it's a bit different. It's like the name. It's not like the metal armor. So I got confused when you said plate. I meant like the root armor stuff. So I just posted.
Yeah, I said plate. What I meant was just bulky armor.
But he's a wood elf.
Yeah, and so you hear something of weight coming up because it's wood, so it's not that heavy, but of weight. Because Yuri, I imagine when Yuri normally moves, is pretty graceful and doesn't really have a lot of impact. And both the panic and the shape of you, if you will, gives off more of a thing.
I mean, my shape's still the same. It's still my body. It's literally just basically with skin, instead of leaves.
But
can I do like a dex check to see how graceful Yuri is still moving? Because he's still like
Sure. Sure.
What would it be? Would it be Dex or performance?
I will let you do it. So it's not performance, but I will let you either do we'll call it a I'll let you do it as a dexterity saving throw. You're not saving against anything, but I'll give you the +5 from a dexterity saving throw on that one.
No, a 7.
A 7.
I can't roll above a 7 today.
If Nhudrel wasn't standing in front of you, Fang, you would swear that Nhudrel was trying to run up the steps right now.
I'm very scared.
Just a bunch of like bumping against walls and a rhythmic patterning to the
How
Someone's been pushed out a window.
you? How dare all of you?
It is
Fang's gonna, like,
canonic that
look.
Nhudrel is clumsy.
The
It's canonical.
audacity. Can
What I
Noodle
can
try
imagine is a
can Noodle try
can
and
imagine-
catch this wood elf
This
Yuri?
bird-
Like
So yeah, give me a perception check.
no, like physically
Well-
catch them from.
Oh no,
falling
they're
up
not.
the
They're not
stairs.
yet.
near
It's not
you.
there yet.
Oh, okay.
He's not there yet.
Fang's gonna hear the clattering and like look at Nhudrel really confused, and then look
But
down
you're
the
here.
hallway because she could smell. Yeah, like you're here. That's the
Yuri-
sound of you running up the stairs, but you're here.
I just imagine a Wilhelm scream as like Yuri accidentally shoves someone out a window as he goes
Oh.
past them on the stairs.
The stock scream.
Yeah, just as you just see one of the students get yeeted out the window. No, Yuri does not accidentally murder someone.
No,
It's
yeah, I'm not.
It's just that.
not neutral. It's not monster.
How dare you? All I've murdered is cabbages. Okay, I've never accidentally murdered anyone.
And a midget's purse.
Somebody's livelihood.
not.
Oh.
Okay, anyway, back to the tenseness of the room where we all going
Sorry.
to die.
Perception.
Let's go back to that.
Perception neutral.
I'm great at that. Totally. You see, perfect.
don't have a
I'm
negative in
so great.
God, the dice do not want anyone to succeed.
I think
Why?
at least Yuri's performance or whatever it was good, and my intimidation was okay. So
Your
the rest
intimidation
have
was
all been
solid enough to get him to pause.
That's a 3
but
plus
nonetheless,
2.
you see what you kind of like duck and sort of lean, and just at this angle, all you can see is the top of like a wood-armored wood elf that seems to be running up the stairs. But you don't get a good enough look at them to know that it's Yuri that's doing that. It just looks like a person because you don't because you rolled a 5. If you rolled a decent enough roll, I would have been like, you can catch it, that that's Yuri. You don't.
But-
So you just know that someone's fucking hauling ass at the stairs.
But honestly, because it is Nhudrel, he would still offer to try and catch this person who's falling up the stairs, regardless of whether he knows
But
them or
he's
not.
not that close to the stairs.
He's not.
Yeah,
I just didn't realize that.
Fang
and
would be. Is Fang closer to the stairs then?
I feel like Fang's closer than I am.
Isn't
no,
there, like,
Fang
a
and
stairs
Nhudrel.
and then like a hallway, and then
Yeah, there's a
rooms on
hallway,
the side
and
of the
so
hallway,
Fang
so
and
there's nowhere near
Nhudrel
the stairs.
and Stone are sort of in the doorway of the office.
So you can see
And there's a
Fang's
hallway
butt.
and then the stairs, but we're just going to say that there's maybe some gaps or some viewpoints that you can see a little bit down the stairs.
Okay.
And you don't catch it because I didn't want you to not be able to do anything with the identifying that Yuri's close but not there yet.
Oh,
I mean, Yuri might
Fang
see
be
Fang's
able to
butt,
see that
so-
that's Yuri?
What?
Would Fang be able to tell that's Yuri?
I don't know that Fang would be able to necessarily do that, especially because Fang can tell that Stone right now desperately wants to cast a spell on people. So would
okay.
Fang care more about what Stone might do to Hicks, or what might be coming up the stairs? Because you smell that Yuri's like somewhere within, dozens to 100 or so feet
Mhm.
away. But you don't know where that's coming from with your 16. You just know that Yuri's about somewhere.
Okay.
Yuri's about.
I hate to interrupt this very wonderful conversation we're having. This seems to be someone in a rush on the staircase, and considering the current situation, maybe we should see they have news of
The council person responds, 20 seconds.
You guys are really good at wasting time.
Fang is gonna kind of lean towards Nhudrel and under her breath, while keeping a hand on Stone's shoulder, still trying to be reassuring. She's going to quietly say to Nhudrel, "Our other friend is close. I'm just not too sure where.
Oh,
But I can't focus on where they are. My clanmate, my tribesmate, is very tense at the moment."
She's not the only one who is tense right now. I don't know what to do.
The council person is looking at Meredith is looking at Hicks. Not like they've glanced at Nhudrel and Stone and Fang a couple times, but their attention is on Hicks. And everything after they said 20 seconds. With you getting nothing from your first question, Hicks, do you follow that up with anything?
Yeah, he'd kind of like lower the blade, but it's still in his hand. And then he'd bend down and grab the, I don't know, dead person-y orky thing by the collar, and kind of like do, like, you know when you like semi-throw like a body across the room, like just not like, he's not like yeeting it across the room.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like,
You're just tossing it in front.
Yeah, just like like in front of it, so it's more visible because Hicks was obviously standing semi like in front of it, on top of it. So he'd kind of toss it towards, not towards the councilman, but like in front of him, kind of thing.
Yeah, presenting it almost. Yeah.
Or why don't you start by telling me why you have an assassin after you, and then maybe I'll answer your questions.
As you might imagine, I'm a very important person. I'm sure this is. I appreciate that you prevented this person from striking me down. It's unfortunate for Mistress Pine, but there are many people that can take over that position. Right now, I have no time to consider who wants me dead for what. I am dealing with a crisis. And they kind of lightly gesture outside. 10 seconds. Explain why I shouldn't have you all contained and put into a cell somewhere.
One, because
You killed the wrong one.
I know.
Bitch.
1, because I saved your life. 2, we want answers on the rift. And 3, we were sent here on business from Southgate. You don't want to kill envoys now, do you?
That's an answer. That's what I was looking for. And in this moment is when Yuri, you reach the top floor in the hallway. And you can see sort of the backs of Nhudrel and Fang in the doorway, and everything. And you can also see with them, kind of almost between them, is a much shorter, probably around like 4.5, 5 feet tall. Something that you've never really seen before. They've got big kind of bat fuzzy ears, and sort of like white gray fur with some different coloration patches. And Yuri, because you are indeed a full caster, not currently engaged with a conversation, and you can see that they're basically holding arcane energy on them right now. And you know the type of magic it is because you kind of have charming magic like this. They're going to they're holding some sort of like enchantment spell in their in their energy. Yuri, this is sort of the thing that you can see. You see something that you sort of recognize as like in the vein of charm type magic.
Okay.
on this stranger between Fang and Fang, who's got their hand on this person's shoulder, and Nhudrel. What do you do here, Yuri?
Does Yuri see the dwarf?
The Dwergar? Yeah. We'll say that you can, just for the sake of letting you be able to see the scene.
Yuri,
between their tall legs.
this is when you just see arrows flying. We have another assassination. No. Yuri. God. He'd look at the situation and notice the magic. And at that moment, he would take a deep breath, and then kind of strangely confident isn't. I guess it's confident, but it's almost in the sense of it's not a like an emotional confidence. It's a trained response kind of thing. And he would kind of very suddenly straighten up into kind of somewhat militant posture and stride forward, and he would simply say to the caster, he goes, "If you're going to cast an enchantment, I would suggest, a zone of truth. Truth on both sides is going to get you the most answers. There's no use causing a further panic. Now, who of you," he would speak in Sylvan here because he wants to see reactions, "serves the Unseelie?" And he wants to see if any of them have reaction while speaking in Sylvan.
Stone doesn't react to the Sylvan, but I do need you to roll a persuasion check with advantage because you called them out on kind of what they were doing.
Well, that's 27.
Now there you go. You do see an eyebrow raise from the Dwergar that's at the opposite end of the desk, kind of in the farthest from you when you speak Sylvan. But they don't respond to you in time.
Can I do like an insight check on that to see if they recognize what I've said?
Give it to me with advantage.
Okay, well, let's 19! Oh, that's good for my insight.
Yeah, you know that they know what you said. They heard what you said. Like, you can recognize someone who is responding to that. They don't give you a lot of emotion, though. It's not to the degree of Hicks, but it is because it's very obviously like they're keeping their face calm versus Hicks, who you're not sure if their face cannot be stoic. like Hicks very much comes from this is the only face that you know how to have. And this is obviously someone being like controlled in their response. But they do raise their eyebrow and acknowledge, like, you are sure that they understood you.
I am going to be Yuri again is very trained, and I'm going to tactfully not going to him, but I'm actually going to just a little cantrip. Simply, he'll simply straighten up, and as he does, he uses the cantrip minor illusion. But he's not doing it to make an illusion. He's going to use the sound portion of it, and he's going to have it whisper into Hicks's ear, so that others can't hear. Because it's like the sound part of and it'll basically just Yuri would say Yuri would say, "I believe an agent of the Unseelie Queen is here, an enemy of your queen. The storm is the Unseelie Queen trying to break through. It is not elemental. It is the Queen of Air and Darkness. Beware her agents."
So at that, Hicks is gonna he's not gonna raise his dagger, his blade again, but his hands are gonna tighten on it, and he hasn't taken his eyes off Meredith the whole time.
And then as a last thing, the illusion will then finish with saying, "I have artifacts of the Feywild and the Shadowfell on me. You need to get them subtly into the ball where they can't be sensed." And then he would end the illusion.
Whoa.
Well, that's happening. Stone, with the 27 persuasion, it's like, "Oh, good idea," and just instantly casts Zone of Truth. Just like speaks the words and gestures and casts Zone of Truth. You can
Thanks,
choose to try to save on it or not. But remember, if you
Yuri
try
would-
to save on it, they
Yeah,
will
they'll
know
know.
that you're trying to save on it.
Yuri would just relay to the others, this is a Zone of Truth spell. Just let your mind fall to it, and you will be made to tell the truth.
Yuri,
If
give
you
me
try and
a
resist, they will know.
perception check on that, or an arcana check, your choice.
That's no perception. 19?
Ooh.
Yuri, you notice, whether or not you communicate this to the group, you notice that Zone of Truth's area of effect ends just shy of the council person.
Yuri would point it out and go, for true judgment of Zone of Truth, please do ensure you get all people in.
Stone's like, yes, I'm going to cast. Yeah, sure, I'm going to cast Zone of Truth right now on one of the 8 most important people in the Synod. Absolutely not.
Wait, did she say
I don't
that?
need to know their truth. Yeah, she says that. I don't need to know
I'm
if they're telling
sorry.
the truth.
No. I'm sorry, dear, but this is how corruption happens in most societies. If people of higher status are not given the true same levels of justice and are expected to speak the truth, how is there meant to be justice or civilization?
Meredith
No,
just
you can.
puts
And
her
I'm going to look
hands to her
directly
forehead,
to the thing
to
and
her
go,
temples.
step forward into the Zone of Truth. Please do proceed.
Meredith goes, I have an idea about where you're from. Stop talking.
I will not.
Stop talking. Stone, don't. It's fine if all of the rest of you are under the Zone of Truth. That's fine. Great. I already believe that you're from Southgate. Looking at Higgs, I already believe that you're from Southgate. I already believe that you've come here from the drain to investigate this. We are dealing with this crisis. This is something for Southgate to investigate. This is something for us to deal with. I have thousands, tens of thousands of citizens that are probably already dead. Many more running from the city in panic. I am trying to deal with this right now. I do not have time to explain myself to an envoy. I appreciate that you saved my life. I'm not going to lock you up, but right now, I need to conduct my business here as the head of the conjuration.
I want you to say some simple words for me. Just simple. Simply say you denounce the Queen of Air and Darkness. It should be easy.
She, the Dwergar, Meredith, looks at you. One more word out of you, and I will have Stone do something about you.
I look to
I
Hicks.
have
You have
asked you
your
to
answer.
shut up.
Wait, did Yuri know
you
that he
said
asked
another
that?
word. You said another word, and
but
so
before that, does Yuri even know Hicks said that? Because he wasn't there when Hicks said that,
What?
was he?
Yeah, no,
No.
Yuri didn't.
When Hicks said, why you have an assassin after you, what, and he refused to.
Yeah, actually, I redacted
Yeah.
that, and yeah, you have a point, because I would have known.
Was
Yeah,
Yuri
that's my bad.
there?
Yeah,
No, I
Yuri was
wasn't.
not there. Yuri was still running
Yeah,
upstairs
I redacted that last sentence.
Okay.
in a Nhudrel fashion.
But yeah, okay, so we'll rewind back to this, and yeah, Meredith has basically said, I need you all to calm down so I can deal with this problem. We will talk, but not right now. I have more important matters to attend to. What do you all do?
In that case, may I offer our help?
Yes, you can offer your help. What sort of help are you thinking you can offer in this moment?
I hate that my brain just went, I'm smart. Just like...
Fang chimes in, I am an excellent cook.
I love Fang so
Everyone
much.
looks like they could use a calming meal. Wait, can everybody understand her, or is it just Nhudrel and Stone?
What, the Meredith?
Yeah,
Aren't you
like it
speaking
doesn't.
No,
Is
Meredith's
everybody
been
under that
speaking in
spell?
common.
So Meredith
Meredith
doesn't have that
Except
spell.
Meredith.
doesn't
Nope.
have that spell where she can understand.
Oh yeah, no. If Fang is speaking in Fang's native tongue, then no, Meredith does not know. No one else but Stone and Nhudrel know what Fang is saying.
Oh, okay. Well, she's speaking her native tongue
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
blank to the fact that other people are not understanding her, because there's half the people here that do and half the people here that don't.
Yeah. But yeah, how can you help? I'm more than happy to receive assistance in this situation of crisis.
Sorry.
Why are you saying sorry? What happened?
No, I had an intrusive thought. Impulsive? Impulsive? I had a thought.
That's fair.
I think it's also somebody it's not.
Is there anything like on the table or like around maybe that could show me what they've been looking at or possibly a problem that they've been trying to sort? Nothing.
Yeah, there's tons of things around on the desk, mostly related to protective ward fields.
Just quickly,
Yeah.
Yuri, whilst they take attention, Yuri would he's not like trying to get out of sight, but he would step back to let Fang and Nhudrel kind of be in front. But he's also kind of trying to do that on purpose. Like, you know that thing where you're like, he's trying to very subtly have Fang positioned in front of him, so Yuri's somewhat out of sight.
Yeah.
And then, kind of nodding Hicks over. But I would then do a minor illusion in Nhudrel's ear, which would just basically say, the wards need to stay as strong as possible. They can't spread. That your storm is trying to reach the tower. And then he would just put subtlety, be subtle at the end of that.
By the way, give me a stealth check for this. Isn't like you're trying to hide perfectly, but just to see how effective it is that people.
Yeah, it's a 12 at the
forget that
moment.
you're there. Okay, so yeah, people are aware that you're there, but you're not. You're not currently. You're abiding by Meredith's request for you to stop talking. To at least to Meredith. But yeah. Yeah, you see a number of things on the desk that Nhudrel that are related to warding and protective magics, anti-magic zones, things like that.
If I may, I've been you can say schooled in these sort of things. Perhaps if I have a closer look.
I assume you mean no ill will toward me specifically?
None.
You're in the zone of truth, so
Oh,
how about it?
He straight up has forgotten he was in the zone of truth. Oh, right, yes. And then he's gonna try and see. He has that air of someone who really likes puzzle pieces, and there's a lot of puzzle pieces in front of him that he sort of is itching to get his hands on. So yeah, he's gonna try see if he understands what's happening, if there is like a simple solution maybe to
give me
whatever
a Arcana check for me, please.
Please don't roll shit. That's a 15.
You see go on.
Did Yuri tell Meredith and them that it's the Unseelie Queen? He did.
No.
No, did he just tell Hicks?
Yeah, just you, and then
then Nhudrel kind of knows about it now.
You would have seen, because you were making direct eye contact. You could have seen Yuri doing the minor illusion cantrip again, but you wouldn't have known whose voice he was doing to. But you could tell he was probably telling someone else something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
But Yuri doesn't. Yeah.
So as Nhudrel approaches the desk and looks over things, Meredith's eyes return to Hicks. Obviously, you've been helpful so far in the way that I'm still breathing. Wish that you were a little bit more helpful so that Mistress Pine was still here, but I appreciate the effort.
So rude.
We are more than happy to provide information to you, but right now we need to figure out how to save the most lives as possible.
And to do that, you need to do what the headmistress said and keep the barrier strong here.
Uh, Councilman or councilperson Meredith just rubs their eyes. Can you give me a convincing argument for why I shouldn't try and extend the barrier to protect more of my people in the main city? Mistress Pine was not good at making a case and was not mostly the most empathetic of people. It's my job to, at the bare minimum, as a leader of a country, it's our job to make sure our citizens don't die. So, do you have a convincing argument?
And with that, he's just gonna turn and look at Yuri, and then just say, "Show him what you saw." As in, like, he's either hinting, literally take him to that side of the building where you saw the shit happen, or do something else magical that shows that what you saw.
Okay. Yuri would step forward and he would simply look over, and he is basically waiting for permission to speak. But he's got like that very like. He's not looking bitchy. He's actually looking quite formal, but he's still doing a little bit of a
Yeah.
side eye up and down.
Yeah. Meredith can clock that you're doing that in the pause for a moment. Yes, I appreciate you respecting my request. Please, if you have information related to this, I would like to hear it.
Okay. I had this word in my head, but we're going to see how well my brain translates those words. Well, you've got, in a society that you wish to protect, you have the pillars of foundation. Metaphorically and physically. Physically, those are these towers. You have a great elemental energy, likely of the elemental plane of lightning and air, seeping through. It is a controlled, to an extent, storm you can see by how it creeps from the barriers. In these towers are powerful artifacts of magical energy. If any potent elemental energy reaches those relics, you are going to have a catastrophic explosion. Clearly, what is most important is protecting what could react to the elemental energy held within the rift. If you do not, you are going to look to potential years and years of elemental residue that could potentially cause this life to become barren in its entire. And he's just going to stay silent. Like, he seems like he could proceed, but he's just waiting. He's like, do you want me to continue? Is that enough?
Sure.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for that. Meredith sits there and is like, "We may not have even been in this office, as Mistress Pine had conjectured it so correctly. That's at least a reason to hold off for now. You say that obviously the storm is deliberate. Obviously, there's some sort of magical elemental effect. You've come to the same conclusion that there's like a deliberate use of elemental plane magic here, lightning, storms, something. Obviously, a plane has torn, and we are receiving a seepage. But you feel like this is extremely deliberate and targeted.
Potentially, yes. I mean, with all due respect, the planes are a very delicate thing. This wouldn't happen as randomly as people may think. Even randomness and chaos is controlled and through a law and a rule. But I mean, you have 8 towers with potent innate magical ability. If you don't have enchantments of these towers, I'd be questioning the foundation of this, institute, which I'm sure you do. Naturally, you shouldn't be looking to expand a shield which would weaken. You should be seeking to use the shield and its energies to balance and counteract the very rift. You don't want to be pushing it into a wider. You want to be. I'm trying. Okay, I can't explain this in eloquent words. My brain is like, you need to use the shield to be pushing back into the rift. You don't
Yeah, you
want
want
to
to
be
plug
spreading
the
the shift
hole.
out. Yeah, that. Or alternatively, you figure out what the energy that the rift is trying to reach, be it, a powerful elemental core, something else that could be drawing the energy of another plane, and you need to have it removed or dispelled. Those are your 2 options that best present themselves.
Meredith looks. down for a moment, looks at the papers. Nhudrel, with a 15 Arcana check, you are seeing a plethora of different sort of tactics of magic while Yuri and Meredith are having this discussion of different tactics of magic, everything from concealment to just like hard protection, shielding magics, to conversion possibly into changing the form of energy. You know from your 15 that you can conclude that they are perceiving this as a breach into another plane of existence that was caused on this end, that or on the material plane's end, that has allowed like essentially a elemental plane to breach into the material plane. They have been looking into ways to seal it, but they have a dozen and a half ideas of trying to seal this idea. It's pretty obvious from what you're seeing here. This is a pile of research with no thesis behind it on how to resolve the problem. They feel like they've got the problem, but they're not going through like a single method. It's still very much in the phase of, all right, what tools do we have? Let's lay them all out in the on the table and try and figure that out. That's what you get with a 15. Hit. Oh, go on.
With that, his fucking OCD is gonna kick in and be like, no, and he's just starting to sort. This is least likely. This is more possible. This is.
Give me another
maybe.
Arcana check with advantage on this one.
Oh.
To see if you can begin narrowing down their possibilities, because some of this somewhat relates to you. There it is.
Just
good roll.
just while he does that, because it might help as well. Yurivil will very quietly look over and go, Nhudrel, why don't you perhaps consult some of your newer resources that you've gained? I believe you recently acquired some research from this similar matter.
That is a good idea. And he's still like sorting out, and he's really like reaching for his book. He's like, this is his domain. This is what he knows what to do.
Yeah, doing research using the book. I'll bump that 23 up to a 25.
Whoa.
Just because it rounds nicely and it answers that. You are checking things off the list. Weirdly enough, you have some experience in this, in the way that from where you're from, there's coordinated magical efforts in which to, implement different city works and security policies and stuff like that. So this is not so different from just like being a project manager on a large civic task.
This is where he's most comfortable.
This is where I'm at. Comptroller, excellent. That's my realm.
Spreadsheets,
city
yes.
Comptroller, spreadsheets. Hicks, give me another insight check, but you're giving it to me with advantage because you can really dig in while Meredith is having a conversation with Yuri.
Okay, it's a 20. It's fine. I panicked. I thought that landed on a 5.
And it's a 20. All right.
Ooh.
Meredith is receiving Yuri's information and doing a pretty good job at masking their face. They look. You catch just a moment of surprise from them as Yuri begins laying out this in such a non-talking in circles way. Bit of almost impressed. You also get the feeling that underneath all of this, I'm in charge and I need to be calm. And based off of their responses to this, they're in a fucking hurry. They're in a panic to do something about this. That's the argument that you walked in on. Was that they were much more heated with Mistress Pine, much more emotional with Mistress Pine. This is a person that has now been for days dealing with this and is at obviously a stall point. I would say with this Hicks, you have and Yuri kind of reinforcing that, you have the ability to help push this person over the edge to take your council wholesale without question or bureaucracy. But they do need a little bit more of a push.
Is that from me or Hicks? But both or just Hicks?
That would be just Hicks. I'm ruling it that Yuri, you have made a very convincing argument, and arguably what you're recommending is something that they're going to kind of move in the direction to. The idea is this is obviously a government, not a person of grand power. So the idea of being like, all right, let's just switch tactics is hard for them to just naturally do as an entity of governance. It's not the modus operandi of things. Plans are considered and reviewed and agreed upon, usually, not just fucking overshot. This is also one of 8 council members. And you all know that in theory, they probably have to do like group decisions usually. But right now, you've just got the head of conjuration in front of you. So Hicks, you realize that they need a little push. A little push to get them to act quickly and decisively now. With your insight check. What do you do with that?
Hicks is now he's like a crossroad. You say you want to protect the larger populace, huh?
Yes.
Well, this is how you do it. You make sure this barrier is strengthened, whether that means you do it yourself within the tower, or you work together with the other towers. But if you so much as let this barrier weaken, all of you are dead. Every single one of you. So you can work in the material plane and make it better for you, or you can let the external planes have their way.
When you say the word material plane and external planes, I am going to say that Hicks, you can roll. I'm going to let you roll persuasion on this, and I'm going to give you advantage on it because you mentioned planes.
Where's persuasion? There it is.
Man, Hicks is so sexy.
Oh, okay, 24.
Yep, sexy.
Very good with words.
Fine. Fine. Stone, coordinate everyone that has anything above entry level knowledge of the arcane. Get them on barriers. I need somebody that's familiar with the archives room. We need to do this. And then Meredith points at Yuri. You're not from one of the local planes. You're from... Trying to remember it in Sylvan. I apologize. You're from the fairy plane. She's saying it right, but like
Fairy.
gently wrong. That's her.
Who's saying that?
Meredith. Meredith is saying that to Yuri, and it's like someone saying it's basically like someone calling Japan instead of what locals call Japan, right? And everything. But you're from the fairy worlds, right?
Yuri is going to look very hesitant for a moment. Trust this fucker.
Did Yuri resist the zone of truth that Stone put down? You can not say anything.
You can just not
certainly,
answer.
always.
Yeah.
But
That's what
I'm
Hicks
just
has
letting
been
you
doing.
know.
Yeah,
I'm
this
just
is not an answer.
reminding you
To be,
that's floating.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm just thinking how Yuri would add this. It's just fuck me. Yuri would simply say, "There are people not of this plane among you." Yes.
Ooh.
Good enough. Anyone here that's not from this plane, we're gonna need your help. You as well. Pointing to Nhudrel, who's busy sorting and eliminating useless stuff.
I really
and being
don't
like, that's
think
a wrong tact.
I really don't think he's listening.
Yeah,
He's
you as well.
in-
Stay.
He's hyperfixated at the moment.
Fang is leaning over to Nhudrel and like, am I from this plane? Am I
Aw.
from a different plane?
Just
You're-
sort of like leans. Oh, who are you talking to? Nhudrel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to like one arm, squeeze her shoulder and be like, "Yes, of course," and then continues sorting.
Yuri would say at that point he would look to Hicks for a moment and go, if we are to work together properly, I do need you to heed my request, given you now have made knowledge that we are non that there words. And now you're aware of the planar entities involved. I need you to exclaim and denounce and state that you do not work for the Unseelie Queen.
He's not in the zone of truth, though.
Meredith isn't, but Meredith just looks at you. I have.
It doesn't really matter about zone of truth.
I'm
it's
confident.
denouncing a patron.
Yeah, Meredith is like, I'm 100% confident. I am not in any way knowingly working for this person. I have no idea who they are.
Who do
Can
you
you say
work
that
for?
with your name, please?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to say I, Meredith,
Mhm.
head of the Conjuration Tower and leader of the Octatic Synod, am not working with or for. You said the Unseelie Queen. That's what you said. Unseelie Queen.
Correct.
Unseelie Queen. Sure. Unseelie Queen.
Well, it's for the best. Right. Before we proceed,
Genuinely
I do
have
need-
no idea who you're talking about.
Good.
But if it's related to this, whatever it is, I am working right now very actively against whatever this is. So if they're part of it, I'm against them right now.
Is
Who
she
do you
in?
work for?
I don't work for anyone. I'm the head of a government. I guess I work for the people of the city.
As a question, when they were looking like they were going to cast magic, how are they looking like? Do they have a book? Do they have a spell book?
Who, Stone or Meredith?
Meredith. Does she have a
Meredith
spell
doesn't
book on
look
her?
like she has anything on her. Stone was grabbing some sort of symbol.
But you don't have a spell book.
I don't need a spell book.
So you're not a
Ooh.
wizard.
I didn't say that, but I did say that I don't need a spell book.
So what are you?
I am the head of the Conjuration,
Oh my goodness.
Conjuration Order of the Synod.
We need
Do
to
you want
better
our
understand
help
your
or not?
Yes, and we need to understand your magical capabilities because
I
if
am
you are
a
a
very
wild magic
powerful
sorcerer,
wizard.
we are not
No,
trusting you.
I'm not a sorcerer. I am a learned professional in magic. I do not require a spell book. I have methodologies in order to cast my magic. Is that enough for you? Currently all of the heads of the Synod's 8 towers are wizards.
Noted. Does any of them have a familiar? And where are the others? Are they in their respective towers?
They're in their respective towers.
Okay.
I can call them if you like.
That
We'll
may
get back to
They
you.
kind of gesture at this like fucking looking. It looks almost like a world globe, but it's just a sphere in like a kind of a circular cylinder that's obviously some big magic or precious stone wizard bullshit, right?
let's not waste their time until we have prepared what we would say.
Excellent.
But you know, could be helpful in momentarily. Before we proceed, I do need to speak privately with my colleague. Do you understand? This is not about you. It is just confidential between us. I leave you with Nhudrel. He is the best at research, and he has insight into protective methods that you will not be able to find here. And then Yuri will just turn to leave and beckon Hicks.
Come, child. I need you.
Yes,
Your
come.
Pokeball.
Yeah, come.
Come with your Pokemon!
Leave the big
It's very
blue
fun.
one. Come.
It's very fun to be able to finally, as a GM, be like, hey, you're adventurers talking to a person that's in charge of, I don't know, the New York City of modern day, essentially, or of fantasy day. And you're like making all these demands and everything, and they're like, I am the most important person in this room. Why are you
Not to
talking
us,
to
you're
me
not.
like this?
Yeah, no, I don't think either of us still consider them important in the slightest. We are like, oh,
I mean, if
dropping
we
like
were
a
from
fly.
the material plane, probably
Yeah.
then we'd be a bit
Yeah.
more like, oh, he's a man of stature, a man of power. But we both just like, shut the
Also-
fuck
Yeah,
up,
you're like,
you
I don't
material
care who you are.
plane
And he's
whelp.
like, I also do not care who you are.
I haven't
They-
pulled on it too heavily because I don't even know if Steve, you know the deep lore of the Unseelie Queen, but the dwarves they're like made the Unseelie Queen. So, but I don't know if I can really
Well,
pull on
I
that
don't-
or not here.
I can't remember if the Dwergar, or if that rolls down to the Dwergar, because she, they, him are.
It would have been
a
the
Dwergar.
ancient dwarves, so it would have been the ancestors, to be fair.
Yeah, the ancestors to both. But they would have no. I will say that in all of this talking, you're beginning to get the idea that Meredith has no idea what you're talking about when you mention.
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
Unseelie Queen.
We don't need to mention it's a god anyway. That'll freak her out more.
Yeah. She's just like, yeah, she's being very honest. Of it's like, whatever this is, I don't care what you call it. I don't like it, and I want it gone. Kind of thing. But Fang, you feel a hand on your back, and Stone sort of touches your back to get your attention, and speaks in your native tongue, which she knows that Nhudrel can also still understand right now. It would be good for you to come with me. I feel like your friends don't understand where they're at.
Fang tilts her head and just gives a nod silently. It says, I will go with you, cousin.
Thank you, cousin.
Don't go far away.
And Stone takes Fang, and Stone takes Fang with them to fulfill Meredith's commands for them, which is to coordinate basically on their on Meredith's behalf. Well, Meredith is kind of leans in to look alongside what Nhudrel is currently doing with things at this point. Being perfectly fine with Yuri stepping out with Hicks for a moment.
I feel like the moment she leans closer to Nhudrel,
Mhm.
almost absentmindedly, because he's so used to doing this, he starts explaining, like, no, this wouldn't be working, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason why this wouldn't work. Like,
He's going to patronize the wizard leader.
Yup.
He's gonna also patronize the wizard leader.
This
I mean,
is what
we've
a
already done it.
cantrip is.
Fang, it's your turn.
He's just so
You
used to
actually
teaching.
you actually get a fair amount of like confirmative and inquisitive statements as you're doing this,
Mhm.
like relevant questions to what you're saying, and like the occasional response, well, what if we do it this way? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
it still would fail in that direction. And
All you will get is just an implosion, which would not be good for anybody. You see,
Yeah,
in this
and-
case,
and
this
so
would be
the-
better.
And so Nhudrel gets the kind of almost unique experience of what happens with what would have happened if this was like an impending danger and you were like preparing for it, and you weren't dealing with a council person that was on days of no sleep, dealing with the biggest trauma that they could ever imagine as a leader of a nation.
Nhudrel's
for a moment it goes into that.
Yeah, but Nhudrel's absolutely actually going to mention this because he's, again, used to teaching people who are, have to do this. I was like, you must understand, when it comes to a crisis, you especially need to keep a level head. I understand it is difficult, but people rely on you. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, at this moment, you need to pull from your depths and lead, because that is what people require of you. And he's still going on and on, like he's talking to certain somebody.
Yeah.
But he's also trying to be like, he is trying to be like, encouraging. He's not trying to be patronizing. Wow, how does that word sound again? Patronizing. There you go. Yeah, he's not doing that. He is trying to be encouraging. It's just like a word of advice, sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yuri and Hicks, you've stepped away from earshot and out of the office and aside. No one else is around you two.
Hello, Hicks. How are you doing?
How's things?
How's life?
And how did your part of the mission go?
It was good.
Yuri at this point is actually leaning a wall because he looks like he's fully gonna faint it. Now that he's like, as he stepped out of work mode, he's like,
Hicks
like,
you
know how it is after
he's
you
not
walk out
giving
of a
him
meeting.
answers to his question, he's just looking at him.
Like, if you've ever hosted like a school project where you need to be the lead speaker, or you have to host a meeting and it's like that after, like,
That's amazing.
Sorry, what was the question? Well, what did you say? I forgot.
Oh, Hicks didn't say anything, he's just watching you.
Oh, okay. I'm just delirious. I'm
just delirious.
Right. Yes, because you don't talk much. That's your thing. You like to brood. Okay. Okay. Do you have the orb of containment?
That's what you want to call it? Yes.
Okay. Well, what's it called?
You can keep calling it that, that's fine.
Okay, but what is it called then? If it has a different name, you can just tell me. You don't need to be difficult.
You wouldn't understand, it's not in a language you speak. Whoa!
These two!
Yuri's like, he just blinks a few times. Okay, sure. You do you. Right. Which one do you want first? Okay. Oh, yes. Sorry. Are you familiar with the Unseelie Queen?
Did you just say Beyonce the Queen?
Yes,
No,
I said Beyonce the Queen.
Are you familiar with Queen Bee?
Hello, I am right. We're gonna have to do a 1, 2, 3, 6 step into single ladies, and this is how we're going to end the portal. None of her new stuff. It's shit. Let's go. Oh, that's very. Oh, I hope everyone on this Twitter is overly into. I don't know what one
I
about.
don't care
don't
enough.
follow this stuff, nor do I. Okay. I just know Twitter is a scary place.
Oh, no.
But
This is not Twitter, this is Twitch, you idiot. Anyway.
oh yeah, you're right. Look, I'm not good at social media either. We know that. Right.
You
what was I
want
on
me
about?
to put these items...
Yes, but you might want to have a look at one first. Without touching, it's horrifically cursed, and it could kill you if you touch it or drain your soul. I think it's necrotic and curse. Anyway, and he'll present the dagger that's like corrupting the leaves that's surrounding it first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I know anything about this dagger?
So you don't really understand the curse portion of it, but yeah, this is a pretty high level item from Shadowfell. This will take a soul if it kills someone with it.
No. No, stab me!
Don't stab me!
This will.
He's gonna get it
Really
mixed
from
up with the other dagger.
I've gone to a soul-stealing dagger.
It looks exactly the same as the torch dagger, and it's just going to be like a Russian roulette on which one.
Yeah, Hicks is like, oh shit, I put them in the same bag. Oh well, this is gonna be fun.
Did anyone see my sticky note?
That would be so terrifying. This would just hurt you. This would
But yeah,
steal your soul. I don't know which one it is. Let's play.
Which?
Like, oh.
Yuri wasn't lying. It is very cursed. And the curse is not a. You know that these exist, Hicks. There's not a lot of them. And they're definitely from the Shadowfell. And so all of the like underlying magic, if you kill someone with this dagger, if you end their life, it'll in their soul, specifically their soul, into the dagger. This is that's all Shadowfell, all bog standard, extremely high level, issued and then reclaimed.
My grandma
equipment.
gave me one for Christmas when I was 5.
Yeah, it's a normal thing. Issued and then reclaimed.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And then, but the curse on it is not from Shadowfell. The curse on it is a magic. The curse on it is a magic. You can't really feel your way instinctually around that. That would take a pretty high level identify spell to understand exactly what's going on with the curse. But yeah, you definitely shouldn't touch it, but you could put it in the ball.
On Hicks, obviously, because Hicks he knows what it is. So
Yuri would also tell him where it's from, but you don't need to make up that word on the spot.
Oh yeah,
with the collected from.
Mm-hmm.
What time frame was the dagger from?
Roughly 300 or so years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. Is the place where it's from, even though it doesn't have a name right now? Does Hicks know that? Does he recognize
no.
the place?
Not relevant from the location it was reclaimed from on the plaque.
Okay.
And everything. Yeah, you would know this Shadowfell magic on this dagger. It's a Shadowfell thing. It will trap a soul of a thing if it kills it, and it is cursed. And then Yuri knows. Yeah, Yuri was able to relay. It was reclaimed about 300 years ago, around the same time as the horn. Stuff.
Where did you said you found this dagger in the tower?
Yes, they have 2 vaults. Terrible, honest. Hicks, I know we don't always seem eye to eye, but I think we can relate the fact that they didn't even have runic traps on their 2 vault doors, and these are meant to be the magical lead. It's so embarrassing.
I mean, if Hicks had humor, he'd maybe retort, but he's a bit preoccupied. Do you know what this dagger does?
No, it's not my area of magical expertise.
Good, give it to me. I'll put it in the bowl.
You can't touch it.
I'm not going to touch it.
Yuri would just place it on the ground on top of the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you don't have to do much.
He's like gives him the look like I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not stupid. Jesus.
You might be clumsy.
If Yuri has anything else to go in the ball, Hicks, you would know that it's good to get everything that's supposed to go in the ball together so that the ball can grab it all.
Is there anything else you want to put in? It's easier to put it all in at once.
There's this book, and I'll take out the book. What was the cover of the book look like again?
What's the book? Let me go back to my notes. I think it was just a worn out cover. Yeah, the cover of the book is extremely plain. The energy from the book, not, but the cover of the book, extremely plain.
This is a Sealy artifact. I need to spend time figuring what it does. Oh, these are all somewhat cursed. Don't touch this one either. Just put it down on the pile, and then he would take out the horn, and he would pause for a moment and go, Hicks.
He's just gonna look at him like, yes, carry on.
This is hard to be your friend. No, he didn't say that, but it's a difficult challenge that Yuri faces. It's hard to
Don't worry, I'm gonna
confide in
ask him out
someone
for
who's
dinner
like,
just now.
what? It's like, I have something to tell you. What is it? Pussy. It's like, okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
But the best is Hicks doesn't even say that. He just looks at you with like a look of like disinterest.
Hey, Yuri,
Oh
how
my
does
God.
it feel talking to a literal scarecrow? Like, how does it feel, buddy?
I prefer the scarecrow because then at least I got wood.
Zing.
You're gonna be
Zing.
birthing wood soon if
Rim
you're not
shot.
careful.
Think of the splinters.
No!
That's
I
your
don't
problem,
wanna-
not mine, plant boy.
No. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway. Anyhow. Higgs, I know you're a soldier or an agent, and this is, whilst you may not believe this concerns you, this is, the Unseelie Queen is an enemy of both your queen and mine, and it seems that a war's beginning, and this horn, I'm going to need your help restoring it, because without it, the Unseelie Queen may not be vanquished.
Does Hicks recognize or know of this horn at all?
You wouldn't recognize it on sight. It's not like something that like you.
Yeah.
But the
Just kind of like
moment
something
that,
he's heard of.
but yeah, it's the kind of thing where, especially with Yuri saying that, you're like, all right, I kind of have an idea of what this horn is, and you immediately know this horn shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be chipped. This is as bad as their security might be. It is undeniable. I don't think that there'd be so much going through Hicks's brain on reframing what you had thought, that like where you had contextualized the material plane as far as the things that might be variables here and what's in this place, which is, up until this point, you'd spent most of your time in and around a drain. A drain is very much like it's a quaint little fantasy kingdom, right? And everything. Yeah, there's like wizards and stuff, but like they're not cooking with any kind of particularly impressive stuff in comparison to things that you know about Hicks. The fact that these things have just been presented to you, and these are some of the things that Yuri found, like, you'd be shocked to find any one of these things kicking around the material plane, just in a vault somewhere, much less a vault of a government. Like, what does that say about what the Synod's been doing? It's obviously collecting these things. Does it have plans for them? And everything. And then it's still unclear, like, it's still not 100% clear, like, yeah, if the Queen of Air and Darkness is trying to push through here, but that isn't something that, in the same way that you wouldn't expect any other like massively powerful planar leader to just be like, all right, I'm just going to step into the material plane and like fuck shit up. That's weird. That's like, all of this is immediately like, for the last years, for the last time that you've spent in and out of the material plane, you're like, this is what the material plane is. And now suddenly you're like, why didn't I never notice that entire wing of the material? Like, none of this should be happening here. That doesn't make any sense to what you've experienced. But again, you've been to a couple other very specific spots, but you've mostly been spending your time in and around a drain, and a drain very much is what you perceived and is reported to be the material plane, which is just like, yeah, they're like, they're like bumpkins kicking around with their snake oil salesmen and their traveling carnivals.
Two, like, provinces, but he spent most of the time in the drain, obviously.
And the other provinces have also presented very much what you would expect, and more importantly, what you've been reported on. But yeah, I would say that this is a lot of context and a lot of change. This horn shouldn't be here. This horn is the thing that should least be here. You would sooner expect some idiot got their hands on something from Shadowfell, and it just hasn't been dealt with yet, then if this is what you think it is, and you're accurate, it's the verdant hunt. It's a horn of the verdant hunt.
Did Yuri say that it was Seelie versus, basically saying Seelie versus Unseelie war? Is that what he's saying?
Saying
Yeah.
a war is coming.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Just to, like,
kind of-
notably, what you would have found out in the book is that the Seelie and Unseelie, whilst they hate each other, aren't at war because the leaders are sisters. Like, basically, the leader of
Yeah.
the Seelie refuses to let the war actually happen because she doesn't want to kill her sister.
Mhm.
Which would have been in the
Yuri
whole
is
military
basically
book.
saying a war is coming, which will be Seelie versus Unseelie. That's
Yeah,
what he's saying.
basically coming or has started. He's not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Hicks would, like, he wouldn't say anything to Yuri asking if he would help restore the horn, but he'd kind of give, like, that nod which confirms that he will help Yuri fix it.
That I'm taking
Like, he doesn't
this
say
seriously.
it, but, like,
I'm
it's that
recognizing
very, like,
this is a serious statement from you.
yeah.
Um,
Like, he's not just going like a nod. It's like a militant, like, you know, aye aye, sir.
Yuri- Yuri would. Oh, do I drop a bomb on Hicks?
What?
But I'm gonna drop a bomb on you too, so let's go.
Oh boy.
Bomb sharing time.
Oh, I'm sharing.
Oh.
Before
Okay,
you
go
drop your bomb,
fast.
before
Well, I
you,
mean, it
for
might
a
not be
dramatic
a
moment,
bomb, but
before
it'll be
bombs
little-
get dropped, for a dramatic moment, we're gonna cut. Fang, are you there?
Fang, hi.
Hi.
Okay. Making sure.
Hi.
We're gonna do Fang's thing because it's gonna be a weird dramatic changeover if we get to bomb dropping and then I go
Okay.
to Fang's thing. Fang, you're following Stone down. Stone is actually holding your hand if you allow them to.
Yeah.
Stone is
Oh.
holding your hand in a friendly way.
Very quickly.
Mm.
I would have, before they have descended, Fang, I would want Fang to leave a little note tucked under Nhudrel's arm to be like, I've gone with my elder cousin. Chirp if you need me.
Hope if you need me. Oh.
And you walk down several flights of stairs to like the 5th level. The level isn't important as Stone starts coordinating very briefly and very quickly, and an interesting effect occurs. Now that it's now especially with Nhudrel not there, where you and Stone can understand each other in your native tongue fine. Unsurprisingly, no one else here speaks it, and Stone seems very confident in that as they literally go from talking to you in your language to cutting over to common and being like, do this, and then just immediately going back to like the kind of comfortable tongue. And Stone just simply says, Stone tells you, kind of preps you. It's like, okay, I'm going to coordinate with these people. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to go here. But while you're on the stairwell, Fang, your friends are in a lot of danger if they step out of line.
Mm-hmm.
The Synod does not take kindly to not behaving in matters that they expect. You're lucky you're in the Conjuration Tower. Are your friends? Are you actually envoys from Southgate? You can tell me. I won't say anything to anyone.
Yes, that is what my friend said.
And that's true.
I think so. Their
Didn't Hicks
words
say
were
that under the truth spell thingy?
No, you said it before the truth spell was cast.
To be honest, Fang wouldn't be entirely sure. She just kind of believes whatever, like, Hicks puts out
yeah.
in front of people.
I think
So
so.
she,
It's
like, wholeheartedly believes it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
He speaks very well. He and my other friend, they speak very good. Wonderfully, in fact.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. She just sort of pats your hand.
This 8 foot tall.
She's just like, sure. Maybe they'll hear it from you in a way that they wouldn't hear it from an outsider.
Mm.
If they step out of line, it won't be a conversation or an escape. It will be they'll get jailed and potentially just executed for fear of terrorism. I need you to know this, and I need you to communicate to your friends this. The Synod is a very very specifically managed place. And the things that they're doing are helpful, and I want them to succeed. But you need to be afraid for your friends, especially the elvish-looking ones. I think you said their names were Hicks and Yuri. Those are the ones I'm more concerned about. Your friend Nhudrel seems, this isn't an insult, harmless.
He just dodged. It's like, yeah, he is rather clumsy, unfortunately. But he is very intelligent, a very intellectual.
He seems very smart, and but your friend Nhudrel seems harmless. Meredith is reasonable to a point, and then Meredith will act like rulers act. That being said, if you want, you can stay by me. If I keep you in my area, in my company, even if your friends do something, I can vouch for you.
Little snake.
I don't want to see a cousin wrapped up in something that honestly I don't think your friends understand. Or maybe they do, but they're taking liberties that I don't think you're fully aware of the consequences of.
True, that I don't understand the things that they know and the things that they are helping with and reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a good comrade. I want to do anything and everything I can to assure their safety and their well-being. I treasure
with my
each and
life.
every one of them. Would me staying by your side aid them in a sense?
Fang, give me a I gotta open the right fucking page. Give me a. You're so strong at these things. Give me a give me a charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving.
I will throw everyone under the bus for Fang. Just putting that out there.
Oh, that's
Give me
bad.
a charisma saving
That's a
throw.
4.
That's not high.
Nope.
Now give me an insight check.
Okay.
Oh no.
She's very naive. That's a 3.
Fang. Oh,
my
Fang.
angel. I will
Stone
protect
just goes,
my life.
cousin, I will do everything I can to make sure you and your friends are as safe as any of us can possibly be under this rift. And she kind of squeezes your hand. And it's like, it squeezes your hand. And then it goes, didn't you say something about cooking us a calming meal?
Yes, that is something I can do. But before that, elder cousin, I want you to keep to your word. So may we tribal swear. And she kneels down and holds out her hand for them to do the tribal handshake that keeps promises.
The tribal handshake that keeps promises.
Stone just nods, gives you the tribal handshake back, and it's like, and then speaks in common to someone that happens to be kind of passing by, and it's like, direct these people to come to the kitchens. I will be with my companion here. I need some food. I need to keep directing it. Also, commence tower lockdown procedures. And then you two, after the tribal handshake, which is a very sacred bond, amongst just you and yours. You and Stone go up to the 6th floor again, which is the kitchen floor, to do that, and you see people already like coming up. And Fang, you know that any time now, this tower's going to become a vault of its own. Okay, back up to
You gonna
Yuri and
fuck outta
Hicks.
Hicks, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, before that, Hicks will be like he'll take out the Pokeball and he'll do the Rudy thing and he'll suck them all up in the dark mist and then close it and put it away. But obviously before that he'd make sure no one is like watching. He'd be like, no one's in this corridor or wherever the fuck they are.
Yeah. You're in privacy.
He'd kind of make sure no one's watching.
No secret eyes or anything like that. I'm not doing that to you.
And then he'd look at Yuri and just kind of like look at him for a little bit, almost as if he's considering what he should, well, if he should say anything. And then just say, that assassin that was meant to kill the councilman? You saw his body on the floor?
Yes. Wait, no, I
He
thought
was
his
a-
body was sucked into the shadows.
No, that's
That was
headmistress.
the headmistress, the
Hicks
half
was
orc
fine.
body.
He was a thrall. Someone I know was controlling him. You understand what that
Yuri does
means?
not seem phased by that at all. He's like, yep, yeah, you're familiar with. Yuri seems actually a bit too at peace with that.
My queen wants him dead.
And you let them live?
He's not gonna answer. He's just gonna like state the fact that
Hey.
that the
Were
queen
you
wants this person
naughty?
dead.
Were you naughty?
Were you naughty, Hicks? Did you do a whoopsie? Hey. Wait, no, Yuri's not gonna say it like that. Hey. No.
Julian!
And this is where Yuri dies.
Hicks, could you somewhat go against her doctrine?
I can fix it just by killing him. Her. Council
Them.
person.
I am specifically
forgot their
fluctuating. I'm specifically fluctuating pronouns. They are a person that does not care about them, and so their pronoun
I'll
fluid.
fix
if
it by
you will.
killing the council person.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to be mean, but you know that's not true. You know that's not how it works. You still went against a doctrine in the first place. Doing the same action doesn't rectify that. You're going to have to earn her favor else by doing much more than that, and you know this.
Wasn't my mission to begin with.
I know, but you still went against it. Look, it's not. I'm not scolding you. I'm sure you had your reasons.
He kind of looks
But-
like he's getting like annoyed the more Yuri speaks. Like he's
But
like his
that-
face doesn't change, but like he's like I don't know, like
It's like a
tense,
neck
like
shoulder
aura,
tension.
like tenses a bit.
Yeah.
It's
Not that his
it's,
face changes.
it's the aura of you're pushing it.
Hicks, I'm not going to tell you what you already know. But if you what's the word? If I have asked a favor of you, my throat. I have if this. Yeah, words going well. I've asked a favor of you. If you find a way that you think will regain her favor, I am happy to lend my aid.
The kids are making up.
Oh,
The kids are
Really?
getting along.
Proper sibling energy. It's like, listen, we absolutely destroy each other usually, but like, we're both outer planar people in a very tense situation. We're on the same team. in this situation in a
About that.
way that's more significant.
Yurevil then would straighten up and kind of he's trying to like make a little bit of a joke, even though it's Hicks, which is it's not the right thing to do when it's Yuri. And he's just gonna go, well, to be honest, killing one of her arch enemies would probably well, okay, you can't really kill the others, but you know, stopping one of her arch enemies would probably get you in her favor.
For like once, Hicks is actually gonna like semi like scoff almost. Like he's just gonna like huff, like annoyed. Like for the first time ever, that's the most like emotional.
Are you annoyed
shown.
because I'm right? Is this why?
And he's just gonna say, "You say you'll help me get back in her good books, but you don't even know what she asks.
No. Yeah.
So don't offer things you cannot keep." And then, like, he's just kind of like
offer
the
no
way he
attempt.
speaks. He's just kind of like, "I'm done with this."
Okay, there's a difference between an offer and a promise. I can offer to attempt.
He's just like ignoring Yuri now. He's like, "I'm done with this conversation. I'm not going to speak anymore. You can speak. I'm not speaking."
Very childish, Higgs. Honestly, you do need to grow up at some times, and I know that's coming from me, but you do need to grow up. But Yuri's gonna straighten up and go, honestly, I had military training too. This is childish. But right.
Now the relationship just went back to square one. And we were doing so well.
It lasted all of 2 seconds.
Perfection.
Honestly, Yuri might not drop his bomb now because.
Yeah, that's fine. Things have changed in this conversational moment.
If you have something else to say, spit it out. We've got stuff to do.
I mean, I was going to give you important military information, but it's fine. Yuri just walk off.
And who's the childish one now with military training?
I'm a fae. You have no excuse. You lost your light, but I can still see the summer in you. And he'll wink and walk off.
It's just like, well, I've got all the goods. I could technically just destroy the world.
He'll poke his head through the door. By the way, did you like the photo of your old home?
He's just gonna like
painting.
literally like glare at Yuri, but not say anything.
You know, maybe if you met the old baron of that home, or one of them, it would be helpful.
As if I could go there.
You could.
Stop with your fantasies, you weird little fairy. And he's gonna say fairy deliberately because of what Meredith said.
Meredith said,
I'm going to
"Aren't you
use
from the
the
fairy
common.
The fairy realm.
You do realize that with a Fey guide, most people are allowed there as long as they have a guide, right? It's quite literally one of the rules of the Feywild.
I'm sure your world is also welcoming to Shadarkai.
Again, with a Fey guide, things are different. You know, yes, you might have to prove yourself to some people, and prove you're not going to betray them, but you realize a lot of the Yuri is gonna pause hesitantly and go, you do realize people don't hate the Shadow Kai is more of a tale of sorrow than hatred.
But like as like Yuri's saying that, Hicks is just gonna again, weirdly enough, give like the tiniest bit of like a smirk, but like a minuscule, like his corner of his lips just like twitch for like a millisecond. And he'll say, "How are you so sure that we won't betray? What do you know?"
Well, I don't. But if you don't have hope for those things, but are you sure that anyone in your life won't betray you?
What? Say that again.
Are you sure that Hicks is like, Yuri is like, are you sure that anyone in your life won't betray you? Like, does Hicks genuinely believe there's someone in his life who won't betray him? Or
Fang would never.
Fang, yeah, I was about to say.
You all know one person that absolutely has
It's
the
more Yuri
inability.
saying, do you actually trust people in general, though?
Mm-hmm.
Fang would never.
Fang wouldn't. How dare you insinuate such a thing?
Clutches pearls.
Like pearl.
You and I come from very different places, Yuri. What you're afforded, I am not.
But
Leave it
you
at that.
aren't from a different place.
Enough with this conversation. We have stuff to do.
Oh my goodness.
Nhudrel.
Right. Oh, okay. I was just gonna
Oh,
say
is there something you need to do on that? You're welcome to continue.
Yeah, that's just
Sam.
okay. He was just gonna say the final thing. Hicks, I mean, gosh, but if you want to help with the war, which could potentially, one moment.
What?
Do Nhudrel's thing.
At the same time that this conversation, this very emotionally
What?
hazardous conversation is happening between Yuri and Hicks kind of outside. Nhudrel, you hear just literally from the, as I previously described it, the wizard bullshit giant globe orb thing. You just hear just basically essentially a something that sounds very similar to like a cell phone vibrating, just like a
This giant, strange circle is vibrating next to me.
Yeah.
I think it was just gonna. It would take a moment for him to realize. Like he takes a moment where he's still like deeply invested in this, all this fun paperwork, and it takes him a moment to be like, and is Meredith nearby?
Yeah, Meredith's right next to you at the table. They seem to be ignoring it.
Oh.
Should you take that?
I'm sure it's just some of the other council trying to get an update. Oh, what's the illusion section going to do in this? Nothing.
Wow.
Sorry, just sorry. I sense some upset in this.
Yes. Well, they're all very sure that this is my fault because it's related to planar travel, and that obviously I was doing something that caused this, which I would be more than happy to have been the case, because then I would at least have an idea of how to. Meredith breathes. Ignore it for now. We'll address them when we have information. Your friends were correct in that.
I'll leave that to you. You know better than I the situation here. I trust you. And looks back at the stuff and is like, I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you know what might have triggered this interplanar hole?
I think, even though she denied it until her untimely denies, I still think it has to have had something to do with the university in Neapolis. That does seem to be the center point, or near the center point of where this was. If you were to ask a much younger and more reckless me, I would absolutely just assume that's the case and be dealing with it more aggressively. But punishments or retribution for misdeeds doesn't address the problem in the moment. So
No,
I'm leaving that for a later Meredith to deal with, and current Meredith is dealing with this.
Tomorrow's me problem.
Yep.
Can I tell if she's lying?
You can roll an insight check about it.
Great. Oh, wait, I don't have a minus to that.
No, you don't have a minus.
God damn it.
Woo!
With a
That
7,
was helpful.
though. She doesn't, or you don't. You're not getting anything that she's being effusive. She's still very much invested in the papers, and she's sort of just casually responding to you, almost half invested in your conversation, and then half paying attention to what she's looking at. You two have narrowed down quite a few things. Quite a few things. The problem here is figuring out how to plug the hole or seal the source of the storm, which is hard to pinpoint because the storm is in the way of seeing any sort of like spectral or archonic rifts, right? Imagine, if you will, if a rift looks similar to a thread of green-blue light, a la the like Aurora Borealis northern lights and everything, that it would be physically above the cloud layer that currently is haranguing this whole area. But the idea is that there's a few paths where you could basically wind up, or like basically purpose this sort of high level arcane energy you would need to essentially do a cauterization of a rift between planes. That's sort of where they're at, but they don't really know how to get at it. They're just basically being shooting blindly with a spell and hoping that it lands. But it does seem like they, at least amongst the solutions that was there. Give me an arcane or a history check.
And depending on which one I roll, it would help me.
No, this is the same. This is the same information. Either way.
19.
The problem is that they don't have anything here, because they're all from the material plane, that can really sense where the rift is in the sky. And it hasn't dawned on Meredith yet. You're the only show in town where you actually have extra planar, people from outside the material plane in your party. And you already know that they're particularly good at sensing the difference.
What's her title again?
Council person.
Council person?
Yeah.
Nhudrel's gonna put down the documents, straighten up slightly. Councilperson Meredith, I have perhaps an idea that might help you.
I could not be more all ears if I polymorphed ears onto myself.
Funny. So the problem is that we cannot sense the rift, at least located above all of this noise. We cannot really settle the storm, even temporarily, to find it, and we can't see it with the storm in the way. But because the energy is of a different plane, we might need someone of another plane who would be able to sense it for us.
I can't believe I'm going to be a sniffer dog.
Meredith looks at you.
Kelsey thing, and she could be the sniffer.
You're
Meredith
from this
looks at-
plane!
and just heavily sighs and collapses
Oh.
into her chair, just slumps down into her chair behind her desk, and kind of puts her fingers to her chin, scratching through her beard. And they look up at you. I can't. I've been up for so many days. It should have been obvious the moment I saw them. Your chatty friend, who has a surprising level of insight. The fairy. They're from another plane.
I am not.
Wait until we found out they're two from different places.
Nhudrel's not going to offer up that.
God.
No one's mentioned that Hicks is from another plane.
Yeah, he
and-
has.
Nhudrel isn't going to offer up
No,
that
not to
information.
Meredith. He didn't.
Yeah, he did. In the Zone of Truth, Yuri said that there are people here. He didn't say.
Well, he didn't say
Exactly.
He didn't say
specifically
who.
who.
Yeah, I
But he
said
said there
people.
was more than one, is what I mean,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, and
But he
so,
said
but
people, so
Meredith
that's
is
kind of
working
like,
on. Meredith is mostly working on
Yeah, it's fine.
That chatty
what they
one.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, your chatty one. Yeah, they're from another. The fairy. You think the fairy would help us?
I will never presume to speak on behalf of my companions. But I know that he is ultimately the type not to just let chaos reign.
Ultimately, the type. It's such a great phrasing for that. At the heart of the man, he's behind a lot of stuff. They're good. They're a good person underneath. They're just fun. They're a fun person. Well, I mean, when they come back in, if they can locate, we can probably figure out some way to.
Councilperson Meredith. I understand that this might be the answer to all your problems, but I ask of you, as someone who has helped you a little bit, please do not pressure my companions into helping or threaten.
Meredith smiles a little bit down. I have no intention of forcing someone's hand. It'd be different if that you were all were a threat, but now that you don't seem to be at least an imminent threat, I will request and I will pressure, but not in a government. You've worked in leadership spaces before. I will not unduly pressure. I will, and she clenches her jaw. And then he like grinds his teeth a little bit. I will request with great emphasis and plead or bargain if I need to. But I will not force. It's not how I operate.
Councilperson Meredith, I think you're not a bad leader.
I'm so glad to hear that from someone I met several minutes ago. Thank you so much for the compliment. I will
Can't believe they
write
finally
it
got
on
that
my
role
vision
model.
board.
Just quietly, for what it's worth.
Cool.
Nhudrel is so accidentally like patronizing. It's the funniest thing to me how
It's-
rude he is by accident.
Well, yeah, I as the GM know that if all things were on the table, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're a person that can say that," but they don't know. Nonetheless,
Neutral's not gonna tell.
yeah, of course. Why would Nhudrel?
It would never even occur to him.
Yes. When your friends come back in here, we will request that. We'll have to set up protection from the storm. I'll have to have some sort of tracking on either your friend or one of our agents that go with you to do it. We're going to need to coordinate with the other towers to begin doing that.
Before we do that, perhaps you should ask.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm just ordering the tasks in my head.
Gonna just slide a glass of water at them. They seem stressed.
They're so dehydrated. They take a sip of the water, and they're like, "For now, would you like to see something?" You say that you're agents from Southgate. I believe that as much as I need to. Envoys, if you will, from Southgate for this period. If you're going to be involved in this in an earnest way, I would need you to not reveal certain information that I'm about to let you know about the Synod. It's not relevant to what's happening right now, but we need it to address this. Can I have that?
You have my
thing?
word.
The zone of truth is gone.
I know.
But yeah.
Nhudrel's just gonna. You have my word that I will not tell anyone information about what happens here that is not relevant.
We'll just say that we had the coordinated magic efforts to do this, and they pull out a map, diagram really, that they unfold. Nhudrel, what you see in front of you, in a very classic, very video gamey way,
oh god,
is a top-down view of the 8 towers of the Octatic Synod, the leaders and the seat of power of the most magical kingdom. And you see that buried in the center of them is another structure that's kind of lightly blueprinted, designed here.
Okay.
This is a engine of magic that isn't currently active. And Meredith explains, we can channel the arcane energy of both the people in and the reserves placed in the structures themselves, as well as various equipment that we've kept on hand in each of the towers to center point on this here in the center. This obelisk can then channel that magic as pure reality bending energy that can shift in its form to what we need to do. The Crest Arcana is the capital of the Synod and is the place of governance. But it is also built on the ruins of something much larger and much more powerful. And when one is seeking to have a secure nation, one's thoughts go to what brings security, power, and what is more powerful than a way to channel magic energy into the directions you want it to go into. And what you're seeing in front of you, and you don't have to roll about this, is essentially they have a absolute like arcane energy beam that could cut through a mountain if they wanted to. Doesn't have to do that. It looks like it can channel different types of magical energy. And they're like, this is what we would like to fire to, as I said, cauterize the wound between planes.
Don't let them do that.
And
Anyway, no, I'm
Anyway.
going to leave that as your cliffhanger for your moment, Nhudrel.
God
Back to
damn
Yuri and
it.
Hicks.
God dang it. We
We
have a nuclear weapon. Yay. It's all good.
yeah,
It's
we have a
fine.
weapon of mass destruction.
This is
To be fair,
great.
like considering God's also knocking on the door, I'm not too like scared at the moment. We've got
Oh, God.
there's more than one nuclear weapons going on right now.
Mhm. Yeah, it's this is the kind of thing where it's like you shouldn't have had this before now, but now that you have it, it might be good that you do. You shouldn't have had this. But if we were gonna have something right now, this is not the worst thing.
Nhudrel has all the color has drained from his skin. He just kind of looks gray at this point in
Yeah.
time. This is terrible.
Yeah, Yuri
I hope
Hicks.
Nhudrel tells us about that.
You have your little tense conversation. Are you done with it? We're back to you.
Yuri's probably just gonna take a deep breath. Like he would have started to leave, and then he would have just been like, Yuri's trying to evaluate what's important, and right now, Yuri being a little shit isn't as important. To Yuri, so he's gonna turn around and kind of, he's got his head lowered very slightly. Hicks, I'm sorry for trying to provoke emotion with you. I'll stop. I'll give you what you want, and that's information. If this war continues, time doesn't work the same. At home. The effects of the war won't affect time here the same. It will affect the timeline. Different things will start turning up along history, like this, and he'll gesture to the ball and be like, that horn was safely in my father's persona when I left 3 days ago, 4 days, it's 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. That is now turned up 200 or so years in the past. The longer the war goes on, the more effects will ripple across this reality and into the others. The Unseelie and the Seelie do not care for time, and that also means it will affect the past of the Shadowfell.
Hicks is kind of like, he's taking in everything Yuri's saying, and he's trying to like figure out like, just like comprehend it.
Yeah,
But he's like, he's not.
He's like, you can see like he's struggling with time, and he goes, imagine you wake up from a coma and you don't know what day it is, but the day you wake up, that's what day it is. That's what happens when you leave the Feywild. You don't know what day it is when you leave the Feywild. You just turn up, and that's what day it is. Every time you leave, you end up at a random point in history or time among a different plane. Powerful Fae can control it and guide you to be where you need to be, which is, who control our gateways and such. But that is ultimately what happens, and if there's a war and uncontrolled gateways are open, where people end up simply be where they open their eyes and end up, in time and place.
You can see he's like thinking about something, and then he like an idea comes into his head, and he's kind of like, nice idea. But then, like, he doesn't like say anything or act on an idea. But you can see like something's come to his head, and he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, but
And then-
you're don't worry, you're an elf. You're immune to that, by the way.
Immune to what?
Oh, when you have Fey blood, which you do, the effects of the Feywild are lessened. So you'll come out in a more relevant time to when you would have entered the Feywild because of the blood.
You mean the past?
What? I've confused
talking about-
myself.
Well, Yuri's just said that Hicks would come out in a more relatable time. As
Yeah,
to
and then,
when
like-
he entered with
So like
Fae.
basically what he's saying is because it's just literally a stat thing of like elves is basically like because you've got Fey blood. When you enter the Feywild, when you leave, you would be more likely to come out just at around the same time zone as when you entered.
Yeah, essentially, you don't have quite the same randomization that if like a human were to enter the Feywild
Yeah.
and then come out 400 years later or 200 years previous and be like, what? And everything. You have more of a in the ballpark time frame of landing where you came from.
Done.
Hold on, let me just type something quick. Okay. Yes, I understand from seeing that warrant that you gave me to keep safe that this war is important and that we do not let it get out of hand.
Yes. Words. The only way that the war in time can be won is if the houses of the barons are, united and their houses are full. The militant powers and armies are important, but each of the houses need to be at their fullest. If there's a single person missing from those families, it
And
won't
you
work.
think someone is missing?
Yes! I know someone's missing.
The owner of this horn?
One of them.
More than one.
Correct. Yes.
More than one of your barons, more than one of your generals are missing.
Well,
And
I
you're
don't
doing
know if the
nothing.
barons. I'm saying a barony. A barony is a household full of powerful individuals. One of the barons leads the militaries. There's a baron or baroness, as you've got in the book. But each of their family members are still hold potent sway. It's Feywild magic. When the entire family is together, there's a potent. It's complicated.
Yes, so how many of them are missing?
I don't know.
Oh.
We would have to find out. Yuri's gonna like do that little like shuffle in the feet, like an annoyed like like he's just gonna take a deep breath and go. Will you keep a secret for mortals and probably end on Sealy?
I have no interest in dealing with the unseelie, and mortals are mortals.
Yeah, hey, I mean Fang and Nhudrel are lovely.
You can never
We're
trust the
lovely.
mortals.
I think you can trust Fang.
I like-
depending.
not
depending.
I could
Nhudrel.
tell Fang the entire history and like the deepest, darkest secrets, and she would just look at me with a blank face and be like, "You speak good."
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Like that was wonderful. That was wonderful
I have
words
no idea
you
what
put
you
together.
said. Wow.
But it sounds
Yeah.
really pretty.
It sounded cohesive, coherent. There was no emotion behind it, but things were said.
Whether or not I comprehend it is completely another situation.
Yeah, that's an entirely different issue. We're not here to talk about that. Here to listen to your fancy words.
Say magic words, magic man.
I like your magic words, Magic Man.
I'm trying to focus, and my kitten keeps trying to shake hands with me because I've taught her how to do that, but now she doesn't want to stop.
Aww.
She's like, Sam!
Aw,
She
that's
keeps
so
slapping
cute.
me.
That's
I've
like
learned a
Tucker
skill.
opening all the cupboard doors. He just opens and closes them all the time. He's like, "Look,
I've
Mom."
learned a skill. I have a talent.
They must
Uh,
keep using said skill.
We put collars on them today, and they had bells on, but they liked the collars. The issue is they kept trying to play with each other's bell, and they just kept basically strangling each other, and it was
Oi!
Amazing.
I like the battle.
And fucking tastic. I love it.
But anyway,
Oh.
your brother's gonna take a breath and go right. To explain, for barons, you have the military details. The barons are the original. There's 4 quarters of the Eladrin people among Feywild. But that's a long history. Those barons, or the families of those barons, served the original Eladrin queen. And he's just going to look to Hicks. They have Hicks put things together.
He's just gonna look at him blankly. Like, carry on.
A queen who vanished mysteriously along with a load of her people. No one really knows why.
He's just gonna
Looking-
keep looking at like Yuri so that he speaks plainly and not in like his little riddly things. He's just gonna look at him like plain.
The barons once reported to the city that, the followers of the Shadow Archive, who became the Shadow Archive, the barons served your queen originally, alongside the Sealy Queen. They were the Eladrin barons, the Eladrin queen.
Yes, carry on.
Point is, these are both ancient allies and powerful families, but they need to be united. And the broken family needs to be reunited. And I'm going to need your help tracking people down, including tracking down the fragment of the horn.
Why do you want my help?
Well, who else
Specifically.
am I going to ask?
Other Eladrin. You're asking a Shadarkai to help you?
Zach.
What?
Sorry, I realized my brain. Someone sent me a message, and my brain actually just could not comprehend what you just said because I had a message in my head at the same time.
Your brain went error
Yeah, I'm
404.
just processing things on delay. I'm sorry. God, now I've got kittens. You
It's
guys are
okay.
so distracting. Well, I just believe that's how the story's meant to be told. It feels right, and it feels like how things are meant to go. And also, you're a Shadokai, yes, but in the nicest way, it wouldn't be a good story without contrasting characters. It makes a compelling plot. I'm a bard, I can say this.
I'm here
You
for the
absolutely can.
I'm here for the aesthetic.
Yuri
I
is
need my
almost
dark and light in my story.
We've got the blue and the furry. We just
The angst and the joy.
yeah.
You ask me as if I can do things of my own free will.
You can, you already did.
You know what I'm saying.
I know. But also, again, your queen and my queen do not have, the enemy is the same here.
Oh, let me just pop off home quick and ask my mama queen, ma'am, can I help this plant?
Well, look, if the path of this happens to coincide with what is ever your mission, then will you help? As long as it doesn't deter you from what you need to do.
Nick's just like, he kind of like stays quiet for a very long time after Yuri says that. Very long time. It's probably like just like a couple of moments longer than is comfortable. And then says like as matter of factually as the Hicks does. Trust me when I say it will not coincide with my mission. At all.
Okay. Well, I look forward to adventuring with you whilst you're still around then.
It just kind of like gives him like a little nod. But doesn't say anything.
Yurval would then actually just take a step forward and bow his head properly. I believe introductions in order.
They give me his name. Hicks just kind of gonna look at him like, what do you want?
For goodness sake, fine. This is between us. I can't express the amount of danger I'd be in if you.
Oh.
Diane, you're a Voltifasaria of the Summer Barony. Pleasure to meet you.
Just kind of look down at you, but not in a condescending way, and just kind of like not that his facial expression changes, but in like a curious, like, oh, that kind of way. Like, oh,
Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh right now? Are you kidding me?
No. He doesn't. It's not that he doesn't believe you. He's just more like,
He's putting together the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, and he's like going, okay, that makes sense why you would want this and this and that. Okay, that's kind of like why he's like looking down at him in that like, aha, I understand kind of thing.
Mm.
Didn't expect to be given your full name.
It's an act of trust. Because if you use it and give it to others, you know what they can do to me.
And then Zixion's like, my name's Yuri 3 times already.
Not the full name.
But he didn't use the full name. He did not use the full name. Although I think he knows Yuri's full first name, but not like the rest of his name. Until now.
Well, now he does. I'll write it down for you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fucking write that down, because you and Yuri and I just went, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then I suppose you want my full one in return?
No. You can give it when you want to.
Don't really want to give my name.
Okay.
A proper Fae. You understand that, right? Because
I
who
won't.
knows what you could do.
Oh, right. Okay. I formally declare that I will not take your name for ownership. However, I would offer to take it for protection in case another Fae wishes to take it. Do you agree to the terms? Basically, you're saying he will hold on. He will hold on to your name in case if another Fae tried to take it, and then he would give it back. Oh, he would add, and I will give it back. Well, I won't take it. I will just hold ownership during that time, so that it can't be claimed by another.
He's gonna kind of like do like a little scoff thing again, but like his scoff is more almost like a, how do I explain it? The word it was in my head and now it's gone. Like a resigned kind of like scoff, like he's kind of just like resigning himself to something. And then just say, well, my soul is not my own, so why should my name be? Yidixkayo nan silue.
Pleasure.
Oh.
Right.
This is like the Fae version of Trustful.
Yeah.
Right, Hicks. These mortals are honestly going to kill themselves if they try and tamper with the Unseelie Queen. We should go help. I do have a plan, but I don't know if they're going to listen to me because they seem really annoying. And stupid.
Wow.
To an extent, I can help you, but you do understand that I cannot give my full help to someone my queen wants dead, considering I've already.
Oh no,
made an issue
honestly,
of that.
you can slit her throat, do what you want. I don't care if she lives or dies. But no, my issue is the Unseelie Queen. She needs to be stopped. Whatever she wants to claim, that just needs to be over. I couldn't, in the nicest way, this mortal realm, it's a blip in my life.
Wow.
I will live before and after it. It's hard to have too much of a connection to a location here. I can care for the people.
Hicks is kind of almost like give him like a disappointed look, but then it's so brief that it's like could have almost been just like the trick of light. Oh, let's get moving then.
He'd nod, and then he would move back up to the tower.
So while you're moving back, Nhudrel, Fang, Hicks, and Yuri, most importantly probably Yuri right now, you feel a shift, like a physical shift, like a number of mechanisms, if you will, coming online. I need all of you to roll perception checks, please. You can also choose Arcana if Arcana is better than your perception. Either version of
yes,
this will be.
Oh my god, a thought. What am I wrong?
I got 14.
The
Oh,
excitement
God, I got a
at
7.
the excitement at 14 is just
I got
hilarious.
double
to
digits,
me.
baby.
Digits, baby.
At least for this there.
You're like, I got a 14. I'm like, I got 11 more than that.
We're in danger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what did you get, Nhudrel?
Solid.
25.
Solid 25. He knows what's going on.
Nhudrel, you
Yeah.
Yuri and Hicks still bickering.
feel this, and this is not dissimilar to something that would have been, again, procedure. And you heard this order given, Nhudrel, a while back before it was interrupted. So it doesn't take you long to figure it out. They're locking down the Conjuration Tower. This is not an unlikely procedure to occur in secure things. It's a little big scale-wise, but Meredith doesn't like shift or do anything here because Meredith's not the one that's doing it. Fang knows who's doing it. This wouldn't be surprising. Fang, I only had you roll it to like be aware of it as it's happening, but you literally are with Stone, who is commanding this to be done, and everything. Unfortunately, for Yuri and Hicks, the indication doesn't start happening. You can feel that they're, shifting and certain things are locking to place, and it's a bit confusing. Even with as low as your rolls, it's just going to make this more challenging. Yuri, especially, you notice that shutters are coming down on the windows. Slowly, but they are coming down.
Oh no.
I would say, based off your nature,
Oh no.
The lid on the box is closing. And again, I think you've been there and overheard that, but if you haven't, it doesn't take you much to recognize they're locking down the town. The things are closing in. What does Yuri do with this as you begin to kind
of? I think Yuri's kind of walking along and looking very calm, like he's just walking with Hicks, Donners with no wimple, and it's kind of like the second it starts to get dark and he starts being able to stop seeing outside, like the second those shutters start closing, he could probably see it. Kind of like the best way to describe it is like a really twitchy cat when they're starting to freak out, like just before they're about to go and fucking fight.
Yeah, do you think that Yuri would bolt?
Yeah, I would.
What?
Bolt. You have enough time. You have enough time that you can make a play to get out of a window and physically get out of this space. I'm telling you that as your GM. Mechanically, you have that time.
Okay.
So it's a choice.
I would say, at least, because he'd be walking next to Hicks, I before anything, I decided Hicks would probably be able to see Yuri doing that whole kind of looking around, adrenaline kick again. Just to give Hicks a chance to react before I decide anything. Also,
I know, Hicks does not want to be locked in this tower.
Hicks already knocks down the window. Like,
Yeah.
this shit.
If Hicks notices they're locking them down, he's gonna bolt out
Okay.
anyway, as quickly as he can. But maybe try go past the room and let the others know, "Hey guys, we're leaving now. You got 3 seconds to jump out this 8th floor window. Are you ready?" And then just
You would
Yes?
do Nhudrel.
You would do how dare you?
No, I said you would doom Nhudrel.
Oh, I thought you said do a Nhudrel. I mean, he's clumsy. He has never accidentally thrown himself out a window before.
No, he would
Not
face
yet.
plant out a window.
Not yet.
Why?
What is okay? So Hicks is thinking about, doesn't want to be locked in here, and is visibly showing this. This is all kind of happening simultaneously.
I would like to.
Nhudrel, what are you doing?
I would like to ask actually an out of character question from Sammy and Yama. Would Nhudrel know that you guys do not have an affinity of being locked inside of things?
I don't know about Hicks, but with Yuri, you would probably know by now. Yuri
I think
freaked
you'd
out
know
when
by
you guys
now.
were in. Because if you remember,
No,
when we were in the
Yuri
tavern,
freaked
Yuri
out
was
in the
not
tavern.
coping.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yuri was like, no, Jack.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Hex doesn't have like. He's not like scared about being locked in somewhere, but considering all that he's heard and learnt, he's not gonna stay here. He wants out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Nhudrel wouldn't necessarily know that. Like,
Yeah, that's
offhand.
fair. But he would know about Yuri. Okay, cool.
Yep.
He's going to instantly, like, once he realizes what's going on, because he obviously had not clicked that the lockdown means lockdown, everything. Nhudrel's gonna quickly sort of stand up in a panic. Councilperson Meredith, very important. Is there any way to pause this? Because he's actually speaking fast. The one person who can possibly help us fix that situation is not going to deal well with this. And by not deal well, probably become useless.
I mean, I can order it undone, but it's gonna happen now. It's, the process is
Yuri and
initiated.
Hicks are like out the window, misty stepping away.
Do you know what it is? Do you know in all of those movies when the villain and the hero both tumble off a bridge and they're doing that spiral while clinging onto each other? It's like, oh, who's gonna hit the ground first? That's what it's gonna be.
Oh no!
But
and
yeah,
then they
Meredith,
just poof and land on the ground, and it's really anticlimactic.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and it doesn't
they'll
suck.
be able to exit out the out the appropriate exits that we will still have, but like these windows, like where some spells are gonna trigger, like this is a standard security measure.
So, is there a way for you to undo it or pause it?
I can't pause it, but I can undo it once it's complete. We can't. The boulder's rolling down the hill. It's not gonna. We can push it back up the hill once it's finished rolling, but we can't get in front of it. It will just crush us.
Nhudrel's going to attempt something, and it's alright if it fails, because this is, his first time trying to cast this thing. Is going to take out his book real quickly and just like flutter through it, I saw this thing, I know it is in here somewhere. And then he's going to try cast message. It does say here that it doesn't have to go in a straight line. It can travel freely around corners and through openings. And attempt to get in contact with Yuri.
Yeah, there's no reason message shouldn't work. You're on the same plane, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well,
I thought that was sending. Message is the cantrip that you just do the pointy points.
Yeah, it's also within
Sending can
120
go, like,
feet.
Yeah, sending doesn't have a limit.
Yeah,
Cool.
message.
You can go to other planes,
but yeah, no
unless-
message.
Message
Yeah,
doesn't.
you can message Yuri. Yeah. You're fine.
All right, cool.
They're
Wonderful.
within 120 feet of you. Yeah.
Just going to Yuri. You suddenly hear this voice in your eardrums. Probably too loud because he's never done this before. Yuri, if you can, I have spoken to the council person, and once it is down, they will undo it. Please, just hold on. Don't try not to panic. You can respond if you want.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking. Oh,
Okay.
don't worry. I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to jump out the window.
I'm going to that's the amount of communication you two can have on message
It's cantrip. You can just cast it again. Be like, what?
in this moment in time. Fang, you see the shutters around the kitchen beginning to lower, and like the kind of hearthy warmth of the kind of tungsten light situation that exists here. The kind of that orange warm kind of Edison bulb. A sort of light as the kind of magic lights kind of brighten to balance it out in the kitchen. The kitchen has been a a carousel of basically people going to Stone and getting orders, and then taking whatever food that you have prepared or given them to do this, almost like you're some sort of like service station, if you will. They don't ask you to serve them; they just like see that you're making things and then quickly eat it. What is Fang making is comfort food?
A variety spread based off of the recipes she had read from her books thus far. So there's an array of like warm food, like curry, there's a soup, like a tomato bisque, and garlic cheese bread. She's also made a bland soup and crackers with Hicks in mind. There's also cheese biscuits. And
Yeah, just you're just pulling things out, cooking them, warmy comfort foods.
Yeah. Anything warm, cozy, and like highly supplemental to people who are like so fatigued.
Give me a survival check with advantage, and then give it a circumstance bonus of survival is wisdom. You're getting a +3, and then add another 2 on top of it. So instead of +3, it's +5 because it's cooking.
Okay.
And you have the chef feat too, so yeah.
Wait. Okay, I'm gonna need you to repeat that again. That was a lot of words.
Survival with advantage. Roll survival with advantage. I'll do the math.
Survival with advantage. Okay. Oh, good. We can roll high on the cooking. Thank you.
All that matters. All that matters.
That's the only thing that was important.
We're gonna warm that up. What does your chef feat give you?
It's a bonus HP.
Yeah.
And I believe you're proficient with chef's tools.
Yes, I am proficient with chef tools.
Chef feat. Where's it? Chef. You gain a bonus to either Constitution or Wisdom. Proficiency with cook. You can prepare food that allows creatures additional hit points when taking a short rest, as well as gain temporary hit points after a long rest. In this place of magic and entity and such, you are able to heal up people faster. Some of the people come for Stone's instructions. Other people come to just get food as other people are getting food. Fang, you are recuperating the staff and people here in this tower. Maybe not even on purpose. Just
they owe me.
yeah, it's just you doing it. What this is doing mechanically is that there are dozens of administrators and student interns and stuff like that, and operators in this place, all of which have been exhausted and been like burning at both ends, and they are not in a good place. And Fang, by feeding them, you are basically giving them the feeling of like a full belly and more hale and hearty than they would be. This will benefit you considerably based off of the actions chosen for how to resolve this, or how to resolve this rift, and this complication. But it kind of quickly becomes, as the kind of shutters go down and everything. Would you think Fang would consider or worry about Hicks or Yuri or Nhudrel, knowing that it was locked down?
She'd worry about Yuri because she has a general consensus of what a lockdown is based on like her tribe's matter, but because it's like an outdoors thing, nothing's completely enclosed in that sense. So the fact of enclosure is like, because Yuri doesn't like being indoors. That's not good. She'll like while still cooking, probably stirring a pot of stew, lean over to Stone and be like, one of my companions is not the biggest fan of being enclosed. I worry the closing of the windows will startle him away.
Stone just sort of shrugs, speaking back to you in your native tongue, and it's like, if I get orders to remove it, I'll remove it. But this is what we had to get in place. Or if I get orders to undo it, I'll undo it. But for now, this is where we're at. Hopefully, they don't get spooked too much. And with this, we're going to cut back to Yuri and Hicks. I am going to say that you both have a choice. I'm going to be kind and just say, Yuri, if you choose to, you can communicate what Nhudrel told to you to Hicks. But you essentially have a choice. You can either, in this exact moment, with no further communication with Nhudrel, because you won't have time, escape or communicate more with Nhudrel. You do not have time to do both.
I mean, I don't think I have a way to contact him back.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really communicate with him. I'm sorry, I've got the giggles.
Why?
Because I found it in the chat.
What? Oh.
Like, what the fuck? What is that link?
It's long. You can't be trusted.
It doesn't even load anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I broke things. Okay. Well, I'll replace it later. That's not the point. But yeah, is there even a way that I can communicate with Nhudrel? I don't think no.
I would say that it's fair based off your initial response that Nhudrel would keep messaging you.
Oh yeah, instantly.
So I will say, because it's a cantrip, so Nhudrel can just at will it.
It's
but
like...
essentially, you responded with, "No, it's fine. I'm just going to jump out the window real quick," and which would make Nhudrel want to respond to that. And so I'm fine with you talking to each other, but if you choose to talk with Nhudrel and try to get greater context to this, you will not have time to get out of this. It's literally going to take all of your speed to just get yourself out.
Do I have time at least just to relay what Nhudrel told me?
Yes, that I'm saying is instant.
I'll do that to Hicks and see what Hicks says.
Yeah, and so Hicks, you
What did you
also...
say again?
Because Nhudrel was like, oh, they're going to open it back up, promise. And Yuri would probably be like, they really promise they're going to open it back up.
They promise to do it.
Yeah.
Yuri is definitely probably that, like, this is the oldest, cheapest books, dumb fucking
Yeah, and Hicks is just gonna be like, you can Misty Step, right? Let's go. He's not
I mean, even if I can't, I'll be fine.
Oh god.
I'm out, let's go.
Hicks, play this game with me. You have to get as close to the ground as possible before you Misty Step. It's really fun. Let's do it. And then Yuri will just cannonball out the window. No, he doesn't cannonball. He swan dives. He's elegant.
Oh my god.
Does Hicks also go out the window?
Yeah, he also elegantly.
Yuri's gonna free fall on his back, and he's gonna try and keep eye contact with Hicks for the longest time. And just before he hits the ground, he'll Misty Step.
Well, how high up are we? Do we need to use multiple Misty Steps to get to the floor?
No, you don't have to
just do it when
Misty Step. I'm fine with the old classic trick of, Misty Step, you know what the spell does and how to trigger it and exactly how long it takes to say it. So you can use Misty Step to avoid fall damage because it is a leveled spell. So or a usage ability. So
well, I mean, yeah, mine's not even like a spell; it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
So it's mine.
And so you choose to burn through them. And so I'm always fine with it being like, okay, just before you hit the ground, you Misty Step in such a way that you like negate the momentum and
I mean, it's like a 30-foot for me. I have like 30-foot too.
Yeah.
Same.
And you don't have to go the full 30-foot distance, so you could literally get, I'm
that's what Yuri's doing
to the ground, and then I Misty Step to prevent myself from taking the fall damage.
Yuri purposely does it, so like as he poofs, he leads a cloud of like green glitter that Hicks will fall directly into as he Misty Steps.
Hicks is gonna poof just before that green glitter.
He's like, fuck!
Nonetheless, Yuri and Hicks, you are both on the ground outside of the completely locked tower. You can see from the outside of the Conjuration Tower, all of the windows are fully sealed. There are several wards that have gone up. just as you've escaped. The kind of wards that exist for clerics when they do their permanent temple space that can prevent the
hallow.
traversal. Yeah.
Oh shit! Have they hallowed it?
Yeah, they hollowed it.
Wait, no, wait. Is this an actual hallow?
If I recall correctly, I wanna.
Oh no!
Hollow. Touch a point and infuse it with holy. I want to make sure it's the.
There's a certain feature in hallow which you'll notice.
Yeah. No, it's the thing. It's. I know that for your characters specifically.
Fucking this Misty stepped out the fucking window.
Yeah. This is hollow. And so this is the thing that prevents. For those that aren't aware, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead can't enter an area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess a creature within it.
And
your friend was lying. They were going to kill us.
If I try and enter, I can't remember.
There's like a wisdom save or something like that. I can't remember. I think I was. Yeah. You know what it is. But like it's mostly a full like extra planar protection thing, and everything, and you can see that like you can almost see it like a glass filling up, like a tall tumbler glass, kind of a tall highball glass filling up, as the kind of magical energy of hollow sort of surrounds this tower. It was a little over 100 feet up that you were, because you were at the top floor. So it was a little over 100 feet up that you were there, but you're standing down, both of you looking up at this place as it sort of magically protects itself. Cantrip of message, not going to work through that. All communications are mute between Yuri and or between Nhudrel and anyone outside of the tower.
For flavor, could Yuri, like while he was falling out the window, try to reply to the message and get cut off halfway through?
Yes.
Like he'll be like, "Okay, Nhudrel, I'll be back in a the bastards," and then it cuts off.
The bastard.
Could so they misty stepped out of like a window, whatever, and they went to the floor, and they're probably like seeking cover somewhere. How tall is this tower again?
Well,
like rather, what floor? How high up were they?
Roughly about 100 feet up, maybe like
okay,
115.
That's enough. So because Hicks knows that Yuri was speaking to Nhudrel somehow, and now that they can't communicate anymore, because I'm assuming Hicks has also seen has seen like the hollowed ground and just been like, oh well, that was nice of them. So he's gonna kind of like put two and two together, and then he would be able to like see the window of the council person's office, right?
Yeah, you see where where the council's. I mean, you'd see it right now as a locked, shuttered, thing. But yeah.
How much does that like black out everything?
Yes.
Damn it.
There is no line of sight inside of the tower from outside of the tower now. It's a very thorough security thing. There's also other stuff that these towers have that make this a very secure.
Then you're just gonna have to worry, Nhudrel, because I can't send you a signal.
This man is gonna lose
from
all
inside the tower.
No, I think it does still work as long as you're not like that creature sending it in.
No, because Hex was basically just gonna because they've seen it before. He was just gonna like Eldritch Blast past the window because his is obviously a specific color and he knows they've seen it. Just basically tell them they're out the window. Yeah. But if they can't see out the window, they can't do it.
Since Eldritch Blast isn't like a leveled spell, you want to try it anyway? See if you can do it. It makes a noise. It's not like a silent.
This is when they go, "We're under attack."
At the tower, he's gonna shoot it past the window.
I'm just like,
you just see.
It's like, if your goal is to make sure your Nhudrel doesn't worry, that might not be the best course
I
of
mean-
action they had to take.
Yuri's gonna run
I
and
thought
scream in
that
a
counts.
circle while you're shooting lasers into the sky. And he's just gonna look out into the window with just lightning
But yeah,
crashing.
they've seen what color his Eldritch
Yeah.
Blast is, so they know what it's like. So I mean, that's the only way he can think of to
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
not
tell
going to punish
Nhudrel
you
that
for
they're
trying to do it.
outside and they're not inside.
Give me just a
Whether he sees
moment.
it or not, I don't. That doesn't cost
So
Hicks
this
anything
is
to
an
do
important thing. That's what I thought. It's there. So you probably just shoot it like up, almost like a flare, right? Essentially.
Yeah, that's basically what he does.
Flare. The moment that you cast
Oh, no.
Eldritch Blast, nothing bad happens to you. You cast it, and from one of the stones, looks like a normal stone that's part of the construction of this tower, a beam comes out and counterspells it.
Any counterspell cantrips?
Yeah, you can counterspell cantrips. I think you can counter. You
I don't
attempt to
know,
counter
Can you?
in the process of casting
Is
a
it only
spell.
a spell?
It doesn't say leveled spell. And
Oh, okay.
cantrips
Yep,
are
but-
if a creature is casting a 3rd level spell or lower.
Can
I
you-
don't think there's any reason you couldn't counter a cantrip specifically. It's still considered a spell otherwise. Like you
Yeah,
can't
I mean, I
cast
guess it does have-
cantrips in like silence,
Yeah,
and that's because
fair.
it has vocal cantrips
it
are
does have vocal, yeah, and somatic.
yeah. So yeah. But either way, it just counters it instantly. And
Hicks is almost tempted to be like, how many of those counter spells do you think they have? And eventually the shutters open and Nhudrel opens. He's like, oh my god, where are they? And you just see Hicks sending off like fireworks into the fucking sky, and Yuri's like,
yeah, Yuri's in the background running in circles screaming as lightning keeps trying to strike him.
And so lightning isn't striking you. You're still under the greater barrier that kind of acts as like a glass dome over all 8 of these towers and has some area around the towers on it. Because you didn't have to just get, like, lightning wasn't just like stopping right at the front door. There was, they gave themselves some ability to walk between the towers and move between the towers. The other thing that Hicks and Yuri noticed, since Conjuration Tower went on lockdown, at a very slight delay, all of the other 8 towers begin to lock themselves down in response because they don't know what's happening. As in the room, Nhudrel can still hear that orb going,
answer your fucking phone!
Pretty
Oh my
much.
god, I'd actually get so mad.
Nhudrel just
Aren't you-
answered me. Hello, bonjour.
Come and disappear!
Sawubona, hello?
You want baguette?
Meredith's like, should I, the lockdowns happen, should I reach out to have Stone alleviated again?
Nhudrel has no idea. He's like, I think they jumped out a fucking window. Well, no, he knows Yuri jumped out a window. He doesn't know where Hicks is.
I don't know
Yuri
what
never
window.
Said, Yuri never said Hicks was going with him.
Yeah, why would I? He's a nerd. As in Hicks, not Nhudrel. Love you, Nhudrel. You're not a nerd. You're a cool, smart person.
Puts that on.
Look, I'm not great at compliment.
I think that would be good. Because if my assumption is right, and I horribly think I am right, my friend just jumped out of a window.
Don't tell them we're jumping out windows. Nhudrel, you can never let him talk to anyone who could potentially use the information against you, because he will tell them your entire life story and your deepest, darkest secrets, thinking it's friendly conversation.
Meredith is like, it's quite the fall, but I'm sure your friend has some. I don't know what parts of fairies are real or folklore. And Meredith
Nhudrel
just goes.
He's just gonna be like, we went through lightning to get here. We are not unscathed. And now my friend has jumped out a window.
Hopefully they're fine. It would put a real kink
I love
in
how
our
Nhudrel has no issue with the slurs. Keep using against me. Keep calling me a fairy. Nhudrel, stand up for me.
Nhudrel doesn't know it's a slur, does he?
You just call me
I don't-
Yurival. Yurival's like, don't call me, because you see Hicks call him brutally a fairy all the time.
Would Nhudrel know
threatened
that
him? I
that's
don't-
a slur? Like, I don't
Not
think
unless-
Nhudrel.
unless
up for me.
you think that internally Nhudrel would have put that together.
Also, Yuri is half he's an elf.
But nonetheless, Meredith isn't gonna care. But nonetheless, Meredith goes. Meredith goes to their desk and opens a drawer, and there's a bunch of different stones in there. Grabs a stone. The stone gestures a little like finger rune gesture over it, and goes, a stone to call stone. It's funny. Stone, thank you for locking down the tower.
I need you to undo that.
I need that to be undone. Or I need that to be undone as quickly as is possible. I know it'll take a little bit of time. Also, if anyone has questions, let them know that they can speak with me in a moment. Speak with me in a moment. And then, I'm seeing the chat. You'd be fine.
This is fine. We're fine.
And Stone, Fang, you can hear this on the other end, and Stone acknowledges and sighs a little bit, and then leans over to the nearest person who's currently like drinking curry from a bowl, and is like, let them begin having people undo the lockdown. I know it doesn't make any sense. Just start doing it. But more importantly for Nhudrel, you get to watch. Meredith sighs heavily and looks up to Nhudrel. Banner day for you, my friend from Southgate.
A what-y day for me? Sorry, I'm still stressed about
A banner day. You're about to meet the Octatic Synod, the council that runs the entire country of the Synod.
Oh, no.
Don't say anything.
Please don't say anything.
Yes.
A fairy and a shadow man just killed themselves out the window. I'm Nhudrel, a frog. Nice to meet you. Oh yeah, downstairs we've got
It's a
Fang.
lion in the
She's
kitchen.
a barely literate lion woman, but she makes a great fucking pasta dish.
The Vindaloo is so
We're here to
good.
save the world.
She's gonna kill the Unseelie Queen with a Vindaloo poo.
Death by cast iron. Let's go. Nhudrel. With that, Nhudrel's just gonna be like, yes, honor. It's an honor. I'm sure he's not really concentrating. He's just consistently casting message until it gets through. He is so stressed right now. He just want to make sure that they're okay.
Going to answer phone.
Meredith rubs their eyes and goes to answer the phone. And Nhudrel, in your stress, you see 7 incorporeal things. You immediately intimate that the only reason this is working is because they all must be by devices that are very similar to what Meredith is utilizing, because otherwise communication shouldn't go through.
Great.
And you see 7 other figures of various types and ages, are various types and ages, different ancestries of creature, all sort of appear in sort of a holographic council circle, if you will. Semi-translucent and everything like that. And Meredith is like, Meredith just immediately upon them all beginning to open their mouths, starting to speak, Meredith is like, just says, shut up. Shut up. We might have a solution to this. I need you all to listen to me before you ask your questions, and then I will answer your questions to the best of my abilities. I've managed to locate a person from the fairy and pixie realm that may be able to help us locate the rift and seal it.
And he
Which
jumped
Yuri
out a
would
window.
love hearing this. Yuri would love hearing that Meredith has just outed to 7 other probably very powerful wizards that there's
Oh
a
no, they're
Fang.
gonna put me in a cage.
Guys,
Guys, I'm gonna
Bring you
have
up
the
to light
tink.
the room up like a
I'm
disco
gonna
ball.
I'm gonna have the Tinkerbell treatment. I'm gonna be put in a fucking lantern.
Shaken for your sparkles.
Oh
Fang.
no!
Actually, though, Nhudrel does know that. I just cause remember Yuri said before that Hex is the Shadok Eye. He said it before. I don't know if Nhudrel picked up on it though.
Yeah,
I mean, he told Neutral things.
He
when
did.
Jack wasn't playing one time, at the very least, there was a period where Jack was taking a lot of notes down. Nhudrel was taking a lot of notes down of the conversation bickering between Yuri and Hicks. So yeah, Nhudrel would very much know that Hicks is definitely from another realm. It's not the same realm of theirs. Might know the name Shadowfell as a name of the realm, but wouldn't have a lot to know. Wouldn't be like sure of a lot of things unless they got confirmation because they're a good and intelligent researcher.
I think Nhudrel would know, however, just from the way Hicks acts, that he doesn't want other people to know about this. So once the council person Meredith is like, the talkative one, Nhudrel's going to be like, sure, just that one.
Yeah, just that one.
As our last scene, Fang, Stone goes to you and is like, I'm gonna help with the undoing of this mess. You want to help me out with this? There's actually some mechanical stuff that needs to be done as well to undo this. It's a mix of magic and mechanical things. Would you come with?
Of course, elder cousin, and then she refers to the group of people that is in front of her, looking for a sign to try to put up a "be back in a big" sign that she's seen at the tavern before.
Yep, absolutely. You find that and are able to put that up. Stone just kind of smiles to herself, and you walk down to the second floor with Stone, Fang. Again, Stone holding your hand in the friendly way that is kind of comfortable between members of your tribe. And she's just sort of explaining in your native tongue. Is like there's a series of levers and pulleys that deal with the shuttering of things and some of the shifting of activating certain arcane things. And I want to make sure this is done in the right order because we've gone on lockdown a couple times, and then usually we handle the undoing of all of the spells to make sure that we don't accidentally leave some security measure on and unintentionally hurt something. I'm going to let you, Fang, roll an insight check this one last time on your very wonderful cousin who's been away from the tribe for almost 100 years.
If she does really badly, can she be distracted by seeing Yurival fall through by the window?
Oh my god.
No.
The shutters are shut.
Probably not.
Oh shit.
You can do great. I believe in you. Bardic inspiration. Window.
No,
I believe
Bardic.
the way I'm having a hard time breathing.
Oh,
Cousin, please. Oh, that's only a 12.
That's only a 12.
Oh,
That's
no.
only a 12.
Stone brings you into a room that does have several levers in it.
I don't trust this person.
I don't know why that scared me.
And
I'm so scared.
Cousin, it's been a long time since I've been with the tribe. Is the saying... I know that you just recently found out that there are still people hunting our tribe for blood. I know that you recently found out that there are you've been about in the world long enough to know that a lot of the outside world is duplicitous and dishonest and malicious in their behavior. This is all in your native tongue, so none of these words should be out of step and everything.
This is the bitch that sacrificed the tribe.
Oh no.
Gonna test
Fang,
the soul dagger.
it is most important
Yeah.
to me, like I'm sure it is to you. And after this is dealt with, I will look into it. It is most important for me to punish those that would hurt people from our tribe, right?
Of course.
It's good to hear. It's also protecting our people is one of the base tenets of keeping our family members safe, keeping our tribe safe. And she lets go of your hand. That lever there and that lever there, can you pull them? You're just much bigger and stronger than me. It would be easy.
Fang!
No.
Oh, Fang!
And
We will burn this tower to the fucking
as
ground.
you pull those levers,
Touch Fang.
Stone just quietly walks out and closes the door behind you, and you hear a click and then a shift in like a rail lock. This is for your protection, cousin. I know you trust your friends, but you're young compared to me. I've been out in the world a long time. We'll let them earn the trust that you give them. And then just pats the door and walks away. Fang, you are locked in a windowless, single door, internal room with several levers that we will find out. We will find out eventually, or maybe your characters won't find out.
Is this
but off screen,
door?
move up and down dumb waiters to deliver things between floors.
Puzzle.
And that's where we'll end today's session. with
How
Fang locked in a
fucking
room.
dare you? No.
You're even
With
going back for
Nhudrel
like
and Hicks
multiple
locked out of the
reasons.
tower.
Very aghast.
And with Yuri and Hicks locked out of the tower, and with
Now we're going
Nhudrel
back.
I can't.
walking.
I can. No, I can't really. I don't really have anything to get back into the tower.
Yeah, because beyond the hallowing, there's also like mechanical things as well with the tower that make it hard to come in.
Like a hallow can't really be dispelled either. It lasts just like I think it lasts something like day or something.
And yeah,
But,
it lasts 24
the shutters
hours.
can be dispelled, but the hallow's kind of fucking stuck
what
there.
you would imagine is that there's probably a dispel magic spell that has to be triggered to undo this at a very high and powerful level. But this is the capital of the most magical kingdom in the Embrace, in the region, and you are in the seat of power of a bunch of wizards, some of which are probably kicking around level 15, level 16 in comparison to character abilities.
Great.
But nonetheless, that's where we're going to end today's session, as it is a little past 3:30
Can
Pacific.
Fang just destroy the door? Is it just
Maybe.
a door? Can she just
We'll find out.
the door down?
We'll find out next time.
Fang, it's the first thing you gotta do. Try to break the door.
The dice knew that Fang would be like, why wouldn't I trust my cousin? They've
Yep.
seen the
Mhm.
dice.
Yep.
And they are, so far, being quite, like, with good intentions of, it's like, I don't think you know
Nope,
what's
don't
good for
trust
you. But you can never trust an NPC that just seems helpful.
Wait, we
but
have to
nonetheless,
wait 2 weeks before we figure out what's going on?
you do have to wait 2 weeks before you figure out what's going on.
Oh wow. Oh, this is gonna be so bad.
Oh. I'm going to be so stressed about Fang for 2 weeks now.
It's only gonna get worse, I can assure you.
Don't say that! The thing is,
Oh, no.
before this happened, I literally just typed in chat, I hope Stone knows that she can't keep Fang, and then this happens, and I'm like...
To be fair, like she had problematic controlling parent vibes and like scream at them.
This is true. Very,
Like,
yep.
I was not
Almost
very
like, it's almost like I introduced a very thing. She also,
Way too friendly. Sus.
yeah, too friendly. Meredith seems trustable in the way that she's just gonna do what she's gonna do. You like an NPC that seems like they have their agenda and all of their actions line up with that agenda and they're open about that agenda. Those are the good NPCs. But nonetheless, thank you so much, my wonderful players. Jack, you want to take us off the stream? Take us out, raid someone, do what you do.
No, I'm going to hold everyone hostage until we figure out how to save Fang. Damn it. All right, let's see. I'm just having a quick look. I have a friend currently streaming. Kelsey is also a trans streamer from South Africa. Don't know why he's still awake at this hour, but then I really am in no place to say anything. But yeah. Let's go give him some love. Thank you for being here. And in an hour or so, you can find us at Baker Street, playing yet another game.
A couple hours or so, playing Sexy Battle Wizards.
Sexy Battle Wizards. Yep.
That's what it's called.
Yep. Sexy Battle Wizards. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.